From pretty much the present, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you a week of old-time radio detective podcasts from 2012. Because these podcasts are many years old, any offers or information included in the podcast may not be valid unless they're currently reflected on our Great Detectives of Old Time Radio website at greatdetectives.net. Here now is a week of old-time radio detective podcast. Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. Give me a call. The number is 208-991-4783, and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Well, today's program is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support. Now it's time to get into today's episode of Barrie Craig, Nobody Lives There Anymore, from February the 9th of 1955.
William Gargan stars as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator.
One nice thing about being a murderer, you don't have to worry about being included in the old age pension fund. You're not going to have an old age.
The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barrie Craig, confidential investigator.
Barrie Craig speaking. I was drinking myself to death this particular evening. Not liquor. At Willie's wagon, it's the coffee that's fatal. Also, I was finding out from the newspapers that chorus girls were still busy suing elderly millionaires, that a hood named Ben Moran had knocked off an armored car and disappeared, and that the police were questioning his girlfriend, Penny Lane. Her picture was spread across the front page. It wasn't art, but it would sell a lot of papers. Also, we were going to have some more weather.
That don't surprise me.
That's because you're a cynic, Willie.
Do I ask you about your religion?
It was around 10:30 at night. But it looked later for the girl who came into the wagon as though it was the last stop on a trip she hadn't planned on making.
Excuse me, but can you tell me if there's more than one Hotel Meeker?
The only one I know of is around the corner from here. You tried a phone book?
Yes, I did. I must be going insane.
Hey, Mr. Craig.
I've got her. She passed out.
Yeah, take her in the back room. I got the couch there.
That's fine.
Hey, sounds like she's coming too.
Get some coffee for her.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
What about?
Fainting. My name is Wilson, Myra Wilson.
I'm Barrie Craig. What's bothering you about the Meeker?
You won't believe me.
Well, I'm a confidential investigator. I've got a lot of practice believing people. Clients, usually. Try me.
Well, my husband and I got to town this afternoon. We took a room at the Hotel Meeker. After lunch, I went shopping and to a movie. Then I went back to the hotel. It looked the same.
Hotels don't change much in an afternoon.
But when I asked at the desk for my husband, the clerk said no one by that name was registered.
The clerk must have remembered you.
No. He said he'd never seen me before.
It was a nice story. It had shape, surprise, a nightmare touch. The odds were wonderful that it was a pony from the word go. Maybe that's why I walked over to the Hotel Meeker with Myra Wilson.
Good evening, sir.
Mrs. Wilson would like the key to her room.
Oh, back again, eh? Mrs. Wilson does not have a room here.
She checked in this morning with her husband.
She doesn't have a room here. Neither does her husband. If she has a husband.
I could take you apart without any trouble. Putting you together again might be harder.
Look, there's no card for Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. I never saw or heard of Mrs. Wilson before. I've been on duty all day. I ought to know.
Mrs. Wilson, you remember the lobby, the clerk?
Of course I do.
What was your room number?
312.
Let's go take a look at it.
No, you can't do that.
Why not? Oh. That gun standard hotel equipment?
Ollie, will you? What are you doing with that gun?
Taking care of this hoodlum, Mr. Roberts.
The hoodlum's name is Craig. This is Mrs. Wilson. You manage the hotel?
I do. Farley, put away that gun.
Mrs. Wilson, did you see Mr. Roberts this morning?
No.
Mr. Roberts, this woman claims she registered here this morning with her husband. That's not true.
Evidently a misunderstanding, although...
We'd like to go up to her room. 312.
If it's not occupied, I see no reason why you can't.
We went upstairs. The clerk Farley had been very tough. Mr. Roberts was very smooth. I didn't care deeply for either of them. I started hoping in earnest that Myra Wilson's story was true.
312's down the corridor.
Mrs. Wilson, would you mind describing the room?
Well, there was a window over the courtyard, a double bed with a flowered cover, a dark green rug, and wallpaper, yellow and blue, I think.
Well, that's enough.
312.
Well, says so on the door, too. Okay, open up. Oh, there's a bed. Outside of that, twin beds, not a double. Carpeting is maroon, not green. And the wallpaper, dark brown, striped.
It's not at all the way I described it, but it is the same room. It must be.
Well, Mr. Craig?
Sorry to have bothered you. Let's go, Mrs. Wilson. We picked up my car and I started driving home. That gave me a small chance to think. First thought was I'd heard the story before, only that was about a girl in Paris in 1890 or thereabouts. She'd lost a hotel, too, along with her mother. The explanation there was that her mother had died of the plague, and the whole thing was hushed up so people wouldn't be scared away from the city. That wouldn't work here. We don't have plagues anymore in New York, which left what? I didn't know, but I thought it might be fun finding out. Now, this is my house, and here's my key. Go on in and try to get some sleep.
Where are you going?
Believe it or not, I'm going to a hotel for the night. The hotel was the Meeker.
Oh, you again.
It's coincidence.
If you're still hopping on that Wilson business...
I'm looking for a room to sleep in.
We're all filled up.
What about 312?
Thanks,
I'll take it. Mind showing me to the room?
I'm not supposed to.
But you'll do it for me.
I'll do it for you.
That is, unless you wanted to check with Mr. Roberts first.
He's gone for the night.
Could it be a federal offense?
What?
Kidnapping a room?
I thought you gave up on that.
Well, that's right, too. I forgot.
Your room.
Well, come on in.
I don't have any... Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm ripping myself some wallpaper. It's great fun.
Now, you cut that out.
And look what I found under this striped wallpaper. More wallpaper. Guess what color? Oh, you don't like to guess? All right, it's blue and yellow wallpaper. The kind Mrs. Wilson described. Funny?
You can't do things like...
Like finding out this really was Mrs. Wilson's room? And that someone changed the wallpaper, the bed, the rug, while she was out shopping? Only one question. Where's Mr. Wilson? clerk didn't answer that one, or anything else. I left the hotel for a doorway across the street. I put in time in nicer doorways, but this one was okay. It kept me out of sight. Until the clerk came out of the hotel and started walking. I walked after him. He led me to a dark street filled with discouraged brownstones. He started up the steps. I was maybe 30 yards from him when he opened the door and walked into bullets. He must have been dead before he fell. All the bullets had hit him. When I got to him, it was only to confirm the obvious. I had news. I needed somebody to tell it to. Roberts was in the phone book. I always track down people that way. Maybe not very smart, but it nearly always works.
Yes? Oh, Mr. Craig.
Mind if I come in?
Well, it's late, but come in.
Thanks.
Don't go any further. I'm entertaining.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello.
I asked you not to go.
I said I was sorry. Now I'm not sure. Introduce me.
Mr. Craig, Miss Lane.
Penny Lane?
Penny Lane.
What do you hear from Ben Moran, Miss Lane?
Oh, now you mustn't believe everything you read in the papers.
Oh, it's too bad. You mean he isn't going to give you a hunk of that armored car?
What would I do with an armored car, Mr. Craig?
Oh, I see what you mean. Excuse me. Roberts, where's Jim Wilson?
Who is Jim Wilson?
Myra Wilson's husband.
Oh, that poor deluded girl.
Not deluded. Someone changed the wallpaper in the room she had. Underneath was the paper she described.
Oh? I can't imagine why or who would.
Try anyway.
Farley's really the one to ask. He's in charge of such things.
Oh, I asked him. He said he takes orders from you.
I'm afraid he's lying, Mr. Craig.
Would you like to tell him that?
I should like nothing better.
Because you know he's dead?
Mr. Craig, I don't think I have anything further to say to you.
Too bad. I was enjoying our little chat.
Good night, Mr. Craig.
I suppose you need time for rehearsal.
Rehearsal of what?
Your story to the police. Farley was murdered.
You know, I'm not surprised. Apparently, he was involved in something crooked.
Is that so?
Why, yes. Checking Mr. and Mrs. Wilson in, then denying he'd done so. Having the room changed while they were out.
It's going to be all Farley from now on, huh?
I'm afraid he wasn't an honest man.
Anyway, from now on, he's going to be a silent one. You can load anything you like on him. But you've got to make it stick, Roberts, otherwise it won't mean anything. Good night.
Mr. Craig.
Yes.
Mind if I come with you?
No.
That's nice. Night, Mr. Roberts. You know, Mr. Craig, what's your first name?
Barrie.
Nice. Call me Penny, please.
Penny.
Ooh, that's even nicer. But anyway, I was saying, I don't think Mr. Roberts is really a gentleman.
Now, that's hard to believe.
Oh, I'm very serious.
Well, you ought to know.
Barrie, you mustn't misunderstand. I've never been up to his apartment before.
You were there tonight.
Well, that was because Mr. Roberts said he had some beautiful etchings, and I love etchings, so... But you know what?
What?
There wasn't a single etching in the place.
We got into my car and drove away. Penny was a very beautiful woman who sounded like a half-wit and wasn't. She was putting on the Parison's springtime routine, pretending she'd fallen for my manly beauty, but she wanted something from me, and it wasn't love. What it was, I hoped I'd find out. Ben Moran must have been a rough playmate.
I don't know why you keep talking about him.
He fascinates me. Wanted by the police for a few murder raps, swindles, armed robberies, income tax evasions, passing a red light.
Ben would never pass a red light.
Oh, sorry.
Apology accepted. Take me home.
Where?
27 Carlton Drive.
Okay, that's only a couple of blocks over. Penny. The moon's still beautiful. The night's young. The air's filled with the fragrance of flowers. Where's Ben Moran nowadays?
I used to be a friend of his. I'm not anymore. If you don't believe me, ask the police, and I hate you. So kindly shut up.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you're home.
Thank you.
Oh, before you go, Penny, there's something I have to ask you.
What?
Who told you to play Mata Hari with me?
Play what?
Beautiful female spy.
I think you're absolutely insulting.
I said you were beautiful.
Good night.
I watched Penny walk into her apartment house and then drove away. I thought about her. She was angry, a liar, the kind of girl who'd go very good on most desert islands. But I didn't have one. So I went home. When I got there, though, I wasn't happy. Myra Wilson was gone. Whether she'd gone on her own or had been persuaded was something I might find out sometime or other. It was a cold trail. I decided I'd try to warm it up a bit. The first step was driving uptown to Robert's house, parking opposite it, and using the phone booth in an all-night drugstore. I had no guarantee the gimmick would work. I didn't have much choice.
Yes?
Ben, I can't say anything over the phone, but come over right away.
Who'd you say you were?
Ben Moran, you jerk. Right away. Goodbye. I figured the phone call, if Roberts didn't have too good an ear, would make things happen. I got back to my car and started waiting. Either Roberts was going to sit tight or he was going to make a move. To do me any good or to do Mr. and Mrs. Wilson any good, he'd have to make a move. Maybe he would. I kept on waiting. Roberts must have mistaken me for Ben Moran. He made his move. He got into his car, gunned it, and went away. So did I. Things were maybe picking up. We were across the river in Jersey, up a dark road to a small house whose lights picked out pieces of the dark sky. I pulled up and stopped a ways down the road from the house. I watched Roberts get out, knock, and go inside. And then I started walking. I knew Roberts was in that house. I could be pretty sure a killer named Ben Moran was there. And who else? I could afford to wait and find out. That is, I had thought I could. The front door was closest. I didn't bother knocking. Hello?
Mr. Craig. Oh, Mr. Craig.
You better save it. There's no time.
Over there near the fireplace.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He's dead.
He's dead. How did you get out here?
Cab. At your house, I got a phone call from Jim. That's my husband. I got here, he let me in, said someone was trying to kill him.
Someone did. You see who?
The shots came from there.
Yeah. The door, half ajar. Whoever was in the other room would have taken off as soon as he heard me come in.
I can't really believe Jim is dead.
Start practicing. He's dead. The only thing is, he's not really Jim Wilson. What? That new corpse, Myra, is Ben Moran. Went through his pockets, found nothing but small change, called the nearest sheriff, and got out with Myra.
Why? How could it have...
After his last job, Moran was hot. He had to hole up and picked your town for it. Married you under the name of Wilson. Maybe that was even his real name.
He had a birth certificate.
Then it was. Ben Moran was his business name.
Oh, I should have known long ago. He didn't work, but always had money.
He hasn't got it anymore. But maybe Roberts can tell us about things.
The hotel manager?
Sure. He knew Moran, helped Moran on that disappearing hotel routine. That was to get rid of you.
Well,
you better face up to it. Makes it easier to forget.
I suppose so.
Moran must have decided the time was ripe to start spending his dough. Had to get rid of you without the police being called in. Or even if they were called in, not believing your story.
They wouldn't have.
No. But maybe we'll get them one now they will believe. We made good time back to Robert's apartment house, but he'd made better. His car was there. And so was he. Mind if we come in?
I mind.
We're still coming in. Come on, Myra.
This rough stuff won't get you anywhere.
It got us inside. How's Moran?
Moran?
Yeah, the man who phoned a couple of hours ago.
I received no such call.
Oh, stop. I made it.
You?
I wanted to meet Moran. I trailed you to his hideout in Jersey.
Then answer your questions yourself.
The police wouldn't. They'd ask you to answer them.
Suppose you let me worry about them.
You'd better. They're going to think you shot Moran.
What for?
Money. Very convincing motive.
I didn't kill him.
Maybe I might believe you, but the police wouldn't. Not after I told them how you conspired with Moran to get rid of his wife.
You couldn't prove that.
Because your clerk Farley's dead? Don't be so hopeful. Myra can tell her story. The original wallpaper is still on the walls of 312, underneath the new stuff you plastered on. You were around when Moran was killed. All of that would add up to a nice package for a jury.
You said you might believe me.
I did.
Who have you got in mind for the killing?
Penny Lane. No use, Miss Lane. Your perfume's too distinctive. Come on out of that room and join us, huh?
Hello. I was looking for an etching.
You were looking for a lot of etchings, with the Secretary of the Treasury's signature on them.
I didn't find even one.
Too bad. I'm sure Moran wanted you to have them.
And I'm going to get them.
Well, your gun loaded?
Uh-huh. Barrie, raise your arms.
Why?
I'm going to search you.
You better not. I'm ticklish.
Not that ticklish, when there's a gun pointing at you.
Well, maybe not. Well?
You don't have the money?
Nope.
What'd you do with it?
Gave it to Myra.
Mr. Craig.
I asked her to hold it for me.
But...
Oh, it's no use, Myra.
No use at all, dear. Give me that handbag.
No.
I'll take it. There. I'll open it, too. Barrie. You're a liar.
I am?
There's no money in Myra's bag. There's a gun, though.
That's why I wanted you to take the bag away from her.
Why, you what?
Sure. Myra is very good with a gun.
But she...
Stop making noises and point your gun at Mrs. Wilson. She happens to have murdered the hotel clerk Farley and her husband as well. Girls maybe will be girls, but she wanted to be a killer. Myra was very quiet about it all. She said nothing. Even when the police came and took her away, she said nothing. She was waiting for a jury and hoping they'd be mostly men on it. I'll be glad to tell you what broke the case, Willie.
I didn't ask you.
Well, I've got to tell somebody. Now, look. Moran wanted to shake Myra, so he had Roberts and Farley pull the disappearing hotel stunt on her. But she got to Farley. Forced him to tell her where Moran was hiding out. Then killed Farley to make sure he'd stay quiet.
I can recommend the hamburgers.
He here?
Nah, that new place down the block.
Well, anyway, the way she gave herself away was she told me her husband had phoned her at my place. Told her where he was hiding out in Jersey and so on. Well, Willie, how would her husband or anyone else have known that she was staying at my place?
They serve it with a kind of coleslaw that ain't all bad.
Isn't all bad? Willie, nothing can be all bad.
Have another cup of coffee?
My mistake. Anyway, here I am, left without a case, without a fee, without... Hey, Stop breathing down the back of my neck.
Turn around and I'll breathe down the front of it.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
But you can't say I'm left without a penny.
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, Nobody Lives There Anymore, was written by Louis Vitez. Next week, it's the strange story of the moving target, about which Barrie Craig has this to say. In next week's story, The Moving Target, a high-flying globetrotter finds that sheer elbow room is no insurance for survival when a felonious blonde makes a passionate effort to bring him down to earth, really deep down, that is. The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production with William Gargan starring as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator, directed by Andrew C. Love. Heard on tonight's cast were Jerry Hausner, Joan Banks, Stanley Farrar, and Doris Singleton. Join Groucho Marx for You Bet Your Life tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. Well, this is one of those plots I could swear I've heard before. Certainly the changing of hotel rooms as part of a mystery is not unheard of. Though if anyone's aware of a specific script this sounds a whole lot like that we've done over these past 670 episodes, let me know. Email me, box13@greatdetectives.net. I did like the end part with Willie's wagon. He's like, well, I didn't ask you to tell me how you found out. But the detective needs somebody to listen to the denouement, so even Willie's got a purpose in that regards. Well, I should mention there were 4 lost episodes between last week's show and this one. The ones were The Man Who Died by Himself, Diamonds Can Be Beautiful, The Money Man, and Fool's Choice. But we won't have any lost episodes this next week, because we do indeed have the very next episode of Barrie Craig. Well, that will do it for this week. We will be back tomorrow with Crime on the Waterfront, starring the late Mike Wallace, and then join us back here next Monday for yet another adventure with Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Well, speaking of Facebook, I asked our Facebook friends whether they would like to hear a radio series starring the recently deceased Mike Wallace. And pretty strong support that folks wanted to go ahead and were curious about this series. The series was called Crime on the Waterfront. Prior to recording this series, Wallace had made his radio living as an announcer. He announced for a lot of programs, including The Green Hornet, Sky King, and Curtain Time. He had also been one in a series of actors to play the lead in The Crime Files of Lamond. A series we'll play later, but there's only one Mike Wallace episode in that particular series. Among the existing exemplars, this particular series we're going to play for you is kind of interesting in that it never actually aired. It was basically a couple auditions that never actually got picked up. And that's one thing that makes it unusual, is because there's not only one audition, there are 2 separate auditions here. And they're a little bit longer than normal radio shows. This is about 35 minutes without commercial interruption, which is a lot better than usually 28 and a half or 29 and a half minutes with commercials. So you get a lot more story. Whether it adds to the mystery or it's padding, well, I'll just leave that up to you. So here now First audition recorded on February 24th, 1949. It's the murder of Mrs. Lattimore.
Waterfront. Cagle calling.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Lou Cagle, ace New York detective, fighter of crime on the waterfront.
I'm Lou Cagle. Been around this waterfront off and on for 8 years now. Guess I'll never get enough. I don't know, just standing here on the pier, even at 6:30 in the morning, watching those noisy little tugs bring another liner in through all this North River traffic. Lights blinking through the fog, boat whistles. The long, low blast of another big baby coming in the narrows. Gets me. Every time. Then every so often, the department hands me a chance to see a big ocean liner dock. By that I mean they root me out of bed at 6 in the morning and they tell me to meet a certain man who's coming in on such and such a ship and be quick about it. At least that's how it was this morning. Not the worst assignment. Fact is, if it weren't for the frantic young lady with a press card in one hand and a pad and pencil in the other who keeps pounding on me on the lapel, I might even enjoy it. But she's June Sherman. She's my girlfriend, so she keeps right on pounding.
But I can't do that. It's unethical.
Oh, sure you can. Then finish by saying that he thinks his wife, Mrs. Lattimore, looks wonderful after a 3-month vacation in South America. That's what he'll tell you anyhow.
In other words, you won't try to find me for it.
Me, girl? A police lieutenant combs through a mob like this to get a statement for your paper from a broken-down diplomat? Ha ha. Who do you take me for, Charlie Knickerbocker?
Everett Lattimore's not a broken-down anything. He's an ex-ambassador, a prominent lawyer, and very good copy.
All right, then why don't you go and look for him?
I've spent half the morning looking for him, but the paper sent me down here to interview his wife. So all I ask is that while I go aboard with the rest of the press to find out if she enjoyed the sea voyage, you keep an eye peeled.
Glad to.
And if you should see Mr.
I'll
Lattimore,
tip my hat and keep on walking. Look, the police department doesn't pay me to boost your circulation. I am here this morning to see that nothing happens to an ex-thug by the name of Patterson who's been out of the country for 8 years. And that's all I'm going to do.
Look, you've told me this 3 times and it's still ridiculous. Since when have the police taken to protecting racketeers?
Patterson's life has been threatened by a former mobster of his, a man named Landry. Miss Sherman, you've heard of crime prevention?
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it.
Oh, well. And for that, tomorrow night you buy your own ticket to the hockey game.
Oh, I'm beginning to understand. You wait until this Landry fella starts up the gangplank with his submachine gun and then quick as a flash
forgive me, I have an appointment.
Llewellyn, is this goodbye?
You call me Llewellyn once again, and right here in broad daylight I'll take you over my knee, and I swear...
Hey, wait a minute. Somebody's calling you.
Huh?
Oh, Lieutenant Cagle.
Where's the...
Coming down the gangplank. The customs man. He's waving at you.
Now, what do you suppose Hank wants? Over here, Hank. Come on, let's see what he wants.
Oh, okay.
Oh, may I get...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There's been a murder on board ship. A woman just got shot.
Well, how'd it happen?
I don't know. She was standing by the rail and just keeled over. A bullet in her neck.
You know who she is?
Yeah. Mrs. Everett Lattimore. All right. Keep back. Will you all please keep back? We can't even breathe.
You find Patterson?
Yeah, he's in his stateroom. He wants to see you. Poor guy, he's scared half to death. He thinks the shot was intended for him.
Yeah. So do I. Patterson's scared. So scared he won't let me into his stateroom until I show him the badge. June and I take a few minutes to cool him down, and then I ask how much he remembers of what happened up there before Mrs. Lattimore was shot.
Enough to convince me if I don't get police protection, I'm as good as dead. Landry said he'd get me. He's out to do it.
Is Mrs. Lattimore standing near you?
Yeah. In fact, I'd been talking to her.
You knew her?
Not very well. Her husband was my lawyer on a few things long time ago. We met once or twice.
What's Landry got against you?
A bad break.
You left for South America, and he went to jail.
Okay, isn't that a bad break?
Where was Mrs. Lattimore standing when she was hit?
Against the rail. I don't know what you're asking all these questions for. It's as plain as day. Landry took a pot shot at me from the pier and hit her instead. I say to the man is killed crazy. If you don't round him up, he'll try it again. And he'll keep right on trying until he gets me.
It's probably Hank.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, he is. Oh, just a minute. It's Hank. He says Mr. Lattimore just came aboard. They had to tell him.
Let me take it. Hello, Hank. Where you calling from? Lattimore there? You identify the body yet? He did, huh? Do you think he could stand to answer a few questions? Well, I'll drop by just in case. Okay.
Oh, just a minute, Lou. Mr. Lattimore, if you want anything, I'll be right outside the door.
Thank you.
Okay, Lou, you can go in.
Thanks, Hank. Mr. Lattimore, I'm Lieutenant Cagle. I just wanted to let you know that we're almost certain who's responsible for what happened.
Yes, the other gentleman said something.
You see, an ex-convict named Landry had threatened to kill Mr. Patterson. Former client of yours, I think.
Yes, I know the man.
I was assigned to cover Patterson's arrival this morning in case Landry showed up. I didn't see him, but he slipped through, that's for sure.
As I recall, Mr. Patterson made quite a few enemies. Isn't it barely possible that Landry may not have killed me? I'm sorry, Lieutenant.
Oh, Mr. Lattimore, let's put this off. In a day or two, maybe.
No, talking about it is better than...
You say Patterson made other enemies. Any you remember offhand?
Rick Pearson, Louis Benedict, for example. Underworld people, of course. Mm-hmm. They both ran in with Patterson at one time or another.
Let's see. Somebody Pearson went up to Sing Sing 8 or 10 months ago for manslaughter.
It might have been Rick. I'm completely out of touch with that crowd, though. I haven't dealt with criminal law for better than 10 years.
What about Landry?
I don't think Patterson ever mentioned him.
He held a bag on a hijacking job with Patterson's summer of 1938. I say Patterson's, but we couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Patterson left the country. Landry took the rap for 7 years and came out hating Patterson more than ever.
I see.
So when word got around last week that Patterson was on his way home from South America, Landry went on a 3-day toot, where half a dozen people heard him threaten to get even. Pretty clear case, if you ask me.
I can't see anything else. Lieutenant, my wife's death was accidental. But it's no accident that maniacs like Landry are roaming the streets. I know it's rather late for a man who spent half his life defending killers and racketeers to start calling for law and order, but I am calling for it. I'm rich. If you bring Landry in, there's $5,000 in it for
him.
Now,
Mr. Lattimore, wait a minute.
Then I'll post it as a reward. $5,000 to anyone who brings him in. This may surprise you, but all the years Virginia and I were married, she never once approved my work as a criminal lawyer. The day I accepted my ambassadorship, she was the happiest woman alive. Nothing since ever clouded that happiness except her occasional anxiety that one day all my years of connivance would somehow come home to roost. Is there anything else with it?
No, I don't think so. About your wife's personal effects, clothes, jewelry, we'll have them sent to you if you wish.
Yes. I want them. Virginia always ran with bright colors. It was typical of her. Inside, she was an anxious, tired little girl, but she dressed like a peacock. The huge yellow hat today, just like her.
It's close to midnight before Landry's in the net. We bring him to headquarters, check his alibi, and for the next 6 hours we take turns at trying to trip him up, but it's no good. He's covered and we can't shake him. Then after breakfast, June drops in, just in time to watch our teleprinter blow the rest of the case to pieces. Well, that's all. Pearson's been in jail since last March. Benedict hasn't left Chicago for 2 years. Brings us right back to Landry.
And the big all-night denial, huh?
Why not? No weapon, no witnesses. They'd laugh us out of court, and Landry knows it.
I love the ballistics report.
Hmm?
Well, how do you get a high-powered rifle into action on a crowded pier without being seen?
That's out. Shot was fired from a point on shore about 100 feet off the ground. Rooftop, warehouse, take your choice.
Hardly a technique you'd expect from Landry.
Could have paid the bill.
When you releasing him?
After we have a little chat. There's one or two questions still left in my mind.
The lawyer showed up yet?
You don't need one. Lock up, Joe. I'll be a few minutes.
Okay,
Sit down, Landry. Well, we've decided to turn you loose.
Well, finally coming around.
Wait a minute, let me finish. There's a small matter of $1,000 for bail.
I got it.
And something for you to think over. Landry, you're the only full-fledged suspect we have, and that's a bad spot to be in right now because Mr. Lattimore, big man in this town, has offered a lot of money to whoever brings in his wife's killer. Now, if you remember anybody else Patterson didn't get on with, I wouldn't keep it a secret.
I can't name one guy that wouldn't like to see him dead, but...
Yeah?
There is a special party. You see, a long time, 10 years ago, Patterson had a girlfriend who used to help along on the jobs now and then. Pretty, had some class, finally broke out of it and hooked her husband. A lot older than she was. Plenty of money.
What was his name?
Name of Fenwick. Yeah, a guy named Fenwick.
Paul Fenwick?
Yeah, department store.
So
Patterson got wind of it, saw a chance for some fast dough, and wrote Hazel a few letters.
Blackmail.
Tom's been tapping her for years. Little here, little there.
How much?
Over 15 grand. She's ready cash. It'll be his first stop in town. See if I'm wrong.
More often than not, I'm at least 4 jumps behind everything that's going on around me, and this morning was no exception. Maybe Landry exaggerated a little when he said Hazel Fenwick's house would be Patterson's first stop. But it was finishing in the money.
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, George?
Mr. Charles Patterson to see you. Shall I... Is anything the matter, Mrs. Fenwick?
No. Please show him in.
This way, sir.
Hello, Hazel. Surprised to see me?
Very pleasantly surprised. How are you, Charles?
Fine, just fine.
You look well. That'll be all, George. I'll ring if I want you.
Yes.
Very pleasantly surprised. That's good. That's rich.
What do you want?
You're down to business, eh? Fine. I like that, too. Ought to make up for how you fell down on our bargain when I was away.
What do you mean?
We didn't peg you for a welcher, Hazel.
Welcher? This is another shakedown.
You can give me those wide eyes all afternoon. I've got no train to catch. But the sooner you come up with the last 6 payments, the sooner I leave.
Are you trying to tell me I didn't...
Hazel, I'm a patient guy.
But you got every penny you asked for, every single penny.
That's $7,500. But just for old time's sake, if I get it by 10 o'clock tonight, you won't have to read about yourself in the paper.
Listen, you promised me when you left the country that if I'd help you get started in South America, once you were on your feet, you'd never bother me again.
Yeah, that's what I said.
During the last 8 years, I've sent you over $17,000.
Sure you have. That's why my business went under. Because I had too much dough.
Avery Wilson, care of General Delivery, New York City. Wasn't that where you wanted it sent?
Yeah? And if you'd sent it, I wouldn't be here.
Well, I'll show you the canceled checks I withdrew the money on.
I don't mean a thing.
Oh, Chick, you gotta believe me. I mailed the money, I swear it. You can't expect me to raise that much cash again. Maybe this Avery Wilson, I sent it to.
Who do you think you're dealing with? There isn't any Wilson. I don't worry about that end. If the money came through, I'd have got it.
Oh, Chick, give me a break. There's not a chance in the world of more than a few $100 by tonight.
All right. Do this. I'm staying at 312 Stanton Avenue, 3rd floor. Whether you have the full amount or not, be there tonight by 10 o'clock. Understand?
I'll be there.
Maybe we can work something out.
Maybe we can. Yeah.
Things are quiet enough the rest of the day. About 8 p.m. I knock off, have a sandwich, take in the hockey game with June. By midnight, we're ready to put on the feet back again, so we stop in at Charlie's place down near the river.
You want onions, Lou?
Yeah, but no pickle.
Take the pickle. I'll eat it.
Coffee all around?
Black for me.
June?
Cream and sugar, Charlie. 2 lumps.
Primo here is now leaving the welterweight division. Cream and sugar. Take the pickle.
But, Lieutenant, this hamburger's so much better than the one you bought me for dinner that I just can't help myself. More reasonable, too, don't you think?
Look, girl, if it's the Waldorf you're after...
Come on, don't fight. Finish telling me about Patterson.
Well, that's all there is. One of our men saw him going to Mrs. Fenwick's house late this afternoon. Half an hour after he left, she called a cab, went out herself. Came back in time for dinner.
Where'd Patterson go?
Straight to his hotel. Hasn't been out all evening.
But he's waiting for some dough to show him, huh?
Might be.
Can't you arrest him for blackmailing her?
You get her to sign the complaint. I'll arrest him.
Fat chance of that, huh? Hello? Yeah, hold on. It's for you, Detective Richards.
I'll take it. Hello. You what? Yeah, sit tight. I'll be right over.
Hey, what's wrong, Lou?
Patterson. They just found him lying on the floor of his room with a bullet in his back. He's dead. Detective Richards, the young plainclothes man we have keeping an eye on Patterson's place, is standing on the curb when June and I pull up in a taxi. He picked up the idea somewhere that the killing's all his fault and that he'll be back in harness by sunrise. As we start up the stairs inside...
Dead man's room's on the top floor, huh?
What? Yes.
As usual.
Beg your pardon, miss? She's worried about losing weight. Come on, let's go.
Be careful of the banisters. There's slivers all over it.
Richards, was Patterson dead when you found him?
Yes, sir. About 1:30 it was. Still warm, though.
When was the last time you saw him alive?
A little after 11 o'clock. We went across the street for some cigarettes.
Hey, fellas. The pace. I can't keep up the pace.
You're not smoking enough.
Yale. Undoubtedly Yale.
Anyone else go up to his room besides you tonight?
No, sir. Not from outside of the building. I'm sure of that.
What about the shot? You hear it fired?
Not a sound. And it's been quiet. Plenty quiet around here tonight. Silence should fix that, though.
Who'd you get to stay with the body?
Patrolman Jameson. The landlady went out to flag the prowl car for me.
And then you didn't call me until after Jameson relieved you, huh?
No, sir. I didn't think I'd leave the body alone.
It's okay. Don't fidget. Well, which room is it now?
It's down here, the second door. Jameson's inside.
I'll be right with you. You gonna make it, Missy?
Fine.
Don't quit. Come on now. Just a few more steps.
June will remember this. June will hold this in her pretty little head for some time. You betcha. You.
Everything okay, Paul?
It's fine. Oh, how are you, Lieutenant?
Hello, Jason.
Evening, man.
Good evening, officer.
Well, there he is. Has that window been open all the time?
Oh, yes, sir. Nothing's been touched at all. That's right, Lieutenant.
What do you know?
Found something?
Uh-huh. Take a look at this bullet hole. That high-powered rifle is back in circulation.
The same gun Mrs. Lattimore was killed with?
Same kind, anyhow. Let's see now. If I wanted to shoot someone standing in front of this window, what'd be the best spot in that apartment building across the street to do it from?
The floor just opposite this one.
Yeah. Yeah, but on short notice, that'd mean going to a landlord who might identify me later. So if I were really hot stuff with a rifle, I'd set up on the roof and wait till the target walked across my sights.
No, but Patterson was shot in the back. He's lying face down.
Yeah, but you see how his knees are kind of doubled up under him?
Oh, yeah.
Patterson's pretty tall. If he'd been standing out, the bullet would have broken the window before it entered his back. The window's okay, so he must have been sitting on the sill with his back to the street when he was shot.
Oh, by then.
Richards, does headquarters have a report of this yet?
Oh, no, sir. After I called you, I came right back here.
How about you, Jameson?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a murder until Detective Richards told me, Lieutenant.
Okay. Junie, you run downstairs and get Charlie on the phone.
I will.
Now, look, tell him to forget I said that Patterson was shot. In fact, tell him to forget we were near his hamburger joint tonight.
What's the deal?
We five are the only people absolutely certain that Patterson's dead. The murderer knows he went down, but it didn't have to be fatal. If the story goes out that Patterson came off with nothing but a flesh wound, I think we just might get another visit from the killer.
That's very old stuff, Lieutenant.
Whoever shot Patterson was in a rush. Much more so than the person who killed Mrs. Lattimore.
You're looking for two killers?
I didn't say that.
Well, of course you didn't say that. I simply
Will you
asked
please call Charlie?
All right.
Would you believe it? Occasionally we have talked about marriage. Well, anyway, presuming we get the authorization, here's my plan for what it's worth. 15 minutes later, on the way down to headquarters with June, I get an idea and I tell the cab driver to drop me off at the Belmont Arms, Mr. Landry's given address. I am just crossing the lobby when Landry steps out of an elevator with a suitcase in his hand. Oh, good evening.
Oh. You looking for me?
Mm-hmm. Why the suitcase?
Gone out to my sister's place in Queens. Anything wrong about that?
You pick a queer time. It's 3 in the morning.
Can't sleep in this joint. Upstairs, I mean, someone's throwing a party.
That'd be easy to check.
Check it. What's all the excitement?
Somebody took another shot at Patterson tonight.
Don't look at me. I've been in bed since 1 o'clock.
How do you know that's an alibi? I didn't say when it happened.
Well, before that, I was playing cards up in Joey Howell's room all evening. Call him if you don't believe me.
Okay, Landry. But look, take some friendly advice. Nobody on bail ever looks good with a suitcase. Go on back upstairs and forget your sister.
If you say so. Tell me something. Patterson dead?
What makes you think he was hit?
Well, wasn't he?
Flesh wound in the shoulder. He'll be okay.
Maybe Hazel Fenwick, eh?
I don't know. It's a long-distance job. From the back.
Oh. You wait. He'll get it. They can't go on messing a rat-fat pig very long.
I'm up the rest of the night selling a bill of goods to my boss, Captain Lawrence. As far as he's concerned, keeping Patterson's death in the QT is mostly kid stuff and not likely to settle anything. We go back and forth like that till the sun comes up, but when I leave his house, I've got the okay to go ahead. Now, there are a few more holes to plug, so I'll wait till about noon and then present myself at Mrs. Fenwick's. As the butler goes in to announce me, Mr. Lattimore comes out.
Lieutenant Cagle. I hardly expected to see you here.
Morning, Mr. Lattimore.
Is anything wrong?
Quite a bit.
Involving Mrs. Fenwick?
Oh, that's what I'm here to find out. You know her very well?
Intimately. She's been my client for years. A very dear friend.
Mm-hmm. How'd you meet?
Through her husband, Paul. We were classmates. What's up?
Oh, maybe nothing at all. Ever know her before she got married?
Why, no, but I can assure you...
Do you mind telling me why she needs your services just now?
No, not if you keep it confidential.
All right.
She's suing Paul for a divorce.
Oh? Another man?
I don't think so. One of those things. And now, would you mind telling me why she's being investigated?
Oh, I plan to drop in at your office this afternoon anyhow. Bring you up to date on the Patterson business. If there's anything to this, I'll give you the whole story then.
Oh, fine. About 3?
I'll be there.
Mrs. Fenwick will see you now, Lieutenant.
Right with you. Goodbye, Mr. Lattimore.
Goodbye, Lieutenant. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
What can I do for you, Lieutenant?
I tell you what, Mrs. Fenwick, I'll just talk and you interrupt me when I make a mistake. Yesterday afternoon, your old friend Chick Patterson came here and tried to shake you down on the basis of a shady past.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, if you'd rather discuss this at headquarters, I can arrange it. Patterson didn't have any more money when he left than when he entered. We know that much. So here's the question. Where were you between midnight and 3 o'clock this morning?
Right here at home.
Can you prove it?
My husband's out of town on business. The servants know I was home by 11.
Then you can't prove it. Maybe it's not news, but Patterson was shot last night. Did you see him at all during the evening?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that came out mighty fast. I feel you ought to know, Mrs. Fenwick, that although he was hit, Patterson is not dead. In fact, no more than scratched. Would you like to reconsider that answer?
I haven't seen him since yesterday afternoon.
Okay. He's being released from the hospital in a couple of hours. I don't know how much you've been paying him, but I'll bet you're in for a price rise. Think it over. I arrive at Lattimore's office right on schedule.
Come in, Lieutenant. You're quite punctual.
I try to be.
Have a chair.
Thanks. Did you know Patterson was shot last night?
Well, I should say not. Whatever happened?
Same as before, a long-range rifle. He was standing in his room near the window.
Good heavens. Was he killed?
No, it shattered a bone in his arm, but he'll be okay. He wasn't discovered till close to an hour after the shooting. Lost a lot of blood.
You still suspect Landry?
Yeah, but he had an alibi for last night.
Well, does it hold?
I can't say. It's still in the mill.
Lieutenant, would your visit to Mrs. Fenwick in any way connected with this case?
I'm not sure. She's been a good friend of yours for a long time.
Yes.
Did you know that she used to work for Patterson?
Hazel? You must be mistaken.
Years ago, when she was a kid. We've checked every acquaintance of his we could find.
What? You can hardly suspect her.
We generally suspect everyone. But it needn't get out.
Oh, Lord, no, it would ruin her, especially with the divorce settlement pending. I wish there was some way we could be certain.
Oh, I'd forget it. Patterson's well enough to go on home this afternoon, and he still doesn't want to press charges against Landry because he knows they won't stick. Mrs. Fenwick never be called in except maybe at a trial, so rest easy.
I can't impress on you the calamitous effect such a scandal would have.
Look, it'll be okay. The odds are 1,000 to 1 you'll ever have to talk to another police. But my job is to run down whoever happens.
Yes, of course. And no matter what it may cost any of my friends. But I'm sure Hazel...
Well, that makes two of us, Mr. Lattimore. Well, I've got to be moving along. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.
And I'll keep you posted. It was set now, set and ready to roll. Landry and Hazel Fenwick thought Patterson would be back in the open by sundown. Lattimore was disarmed enough not to scare Hazel, if it was Hazel, out of trying to finish what she'd started. And Uncle Lou had, as usual, taken too big a mouthful for himself. By 9 o'clock in the evening, when I start up the front steps of Patterson's boarding house, I'm rigged out to look as much like him as possible. Even to a black silk arm sling. On the way upstairs to his room, I get to considering the various disadvantages of his scheme. In order for it to work at all, the killer has to show. And what kind of a killer do you draw out so soon after his original try failed? A nice desperate one, complete with sharpshooter's badge. And it doesn't make me feel any safer to know that I'm in this thing all by myself, either. Then the icy shivers set in. Patterson's door is unlocked, and locking it was the last thing I did before leaving here last night. There's only one thing in the world I can call to mind that'll give me strength enough to kick open that door. So I call it to mind. $5,000 for anyone who furnishes information leading to the arrest and conviction. All right, will you walk out, or do I come in after you? Empty. There's a neon sign jutting out from the building across from this one, and when the light blinks on, it turns everything in Patterson's room a watery red. On, off, and it's dark again. I'll wait till it shuts off a second time, step inside, close the door behind me. Then it's on again, and I freeze. Off. I cross to the window, draw the shade, snap on the table lamp near Patterson's bed. As far as I can tell, the room's the same as we left it. I take a rumpled pillow from the bed, prop it against the lampshade. That cuts off enough glare so I can sit near it and still watch the roof of the apartment across the street. Then I go back to the window, raise the shade all the way up, and stand there. No customers. and black of the neon sign. On. Off. On. Off. So I plump myself on the far edge of the bed, take out a deck of cards, and begin a game of solitaire, keeping as much of an eye as I can on the stretch of rooftop through the window. I see it perfectly when the light blinks on, but while it's off, somebody could roll up a cannon on me and I wouldn't know it. 10 minutes drag by. 20 minutes. Still no bid from the killer. Maybe it is kid stuff. Maybe All right now, Cagle, there's your boy. Come on, get cool. Get that gun handy. Now wait. Just wait it out. They're hungry enough to come all the way in for you. All the way.
Lieutenant Cagle. Mr. Lattimore, let me in. And put down that gun. You should have your head examined. What kind of wild ice...
Come on, step inside. You'll wake the neighbors.
You surprise me, lending yourself to a foolhardy ruse like this. I could barely believe my ears when I heard Patterson was dead.
If it's not asking too much, how did you hear it?
The district attorney's office isn't exactly unknown to me. That, however, is not the point. I'm here to insist that you abandon this reckless masquerade immediately. Haven't enough people been killed?
You want the murderer, don't you?
Of course I do. But setting a trap with human bait is a little too much. While I'm on the subject, will you be good enough to draw that blind? Posing as a target may appeal strongly to you,
All
but...
right. Now, will you just tell me what...
Raise your hands as high as you can, Lieutenant.
All right.
Now stretch out in that bed. Face down.
Just as easily hand you my gun.
Do as I say. You can get up now.
All right. That's a queer-looking rod you've got. What's it called?
This pistol's name isn't half so interesting as its muzzle velocity.
Just like your high-powered rifle, hmm?
And even at close range, no powder burn.
You're thorough. They find me, and it looks like another long-distance job. It's very thorough. I'm surprised you slept so early in the game.
I remember, Lieutenant. The yellow hat my wife was wearing. I saw through the telescopic sight when I shot her.
Yes, if it hadn't been removed before you identified her body, you could have stopped last night after you got Patterson.
I suppose so. Would you mind moving over toward the window, Lieutenant?
I'm in a bed. Tell me, did you kill your wife because she held the purse strings, or did she know about you and Hazel?
A little of both. Now put your right hand behind you and edge the window shade up very slowly.
Sure.
I said slowly. And keep the other hand up in the air. I gotcha.
With Patterson, you were afraid he'd tell Hazel you were the go-between on his blackmail racket. She wouldn't have liked that, you stealing so much dough from her. Huh?
No, she wouldn't. Run the shade up a few inches more, please.
You want it just above shoulder. Like about here. Go ahead, move. Go on, just once. Just move once. This is no silencer, see, Lattimore?
Cagle, don't shoot. Please. I won't move, Cagle, I promise.
Come on, get up, Lattimore. It's all right now. Get up. No one's gonna shoot you. And that, I guess, was sort of a horse on Lattimore. Walking him back downstairs instead of shooting him up because you get the same effect so much easier by simply offering the gentleman a chair.
Be with us next week when a kidnapper, an ocean-going kidnapper, meets Lou Cagle, fighter of Crime on the Waterfront. Lou Cagle is played by Myron Wallace. June Sherman by Muriel Bremner. Crime on the Waterfront is written by J.T. Kelly.
Welcome back. Well, a somewhat dangerous and foolhardy scheme for an actual policeman to be undertaking with no backup and no one watching them, just planning on taking the criminal single-handed. But it does work out in the end as Lou Cagle gets his man. Unfortunately, he doesn't. I don't think he's going to collect his reward for obvious reasons. But overall, I thought it was a good series. I think the main reason it didn't make it is you just had, it was as Jim Widner said, you just had a glut of radio programs on the air, detective shows, and it did not leave a whole lot of room for new shows, particularly when the star would be someone who was not nationally known. At this point, Wallace was based out of Chicago, so a lot of his programs were more regional in appeal. In fact, Crime Files of Flamon, many of those recordings were transcribed and recorded out of Chicago. So that had more to do with it than Wallace's talent or the actual scripts. But glad to bring this to you. We'll have another, a second audition next week. Well, we do have a listener comment. This one comes off of iTunes. Reservoir Tip writes, I really love old-time detectives, and Adam's commentary and production just makes it all the better. I hope you keep it going for many more years. Boston Blackie, Nightbeat, Richard Diamond would be good for future editions. I've been listening for years now. Bravo for a job well done. Well, thank you so much for listening out there. And I definitely agree on all those choices. Was just listening to some Boston Blackie today, and I can hardly wait to bring it to you. You know, it's just one of those things takes a little bit of discipline because only 5 shows at a time. All right, well, that will do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow with Let George Do It. Next week, the last of the Crime on the Waterfront. Also, be sure if you do have the premium site or the app, we do have an episode of The Good News with William Gargan for you to enjoy. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all your support. Here's today's episode, Murder for Two.
Personal notice, changes my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Standard Oil Company of California, on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West, invite you to Let George Do It. Murder for Two, a transcribed adventure of George Valentine.
Dear Mr. Valentine, my sister Ruth Jennings needs your help desperately. I tried to get her to write you herself, but she's too upset, and she has reason to be. Her life is being threatened, Mr. Valentine, and she's helpless to do anything about it. Please don't tell us to call the police, because they and the courts have done all they can. Please come to see us after my husband has gone to work tomorrow morning, anytime after 7 o'clock. I don't know what you charge, but I'm enclosing a money order so you'll know how badly we need help. Sincerely, Eunice James. 1481. This is the house, George.
Yeah, I guess it is, Angel.
I know what you're thinking. How could anybody who lives in a place like this send you $200?
Well, people fool you sometimes. Maybe they're living out here on the wrong side of the tracks and saving their money for a better day. Well, $200 is $200. Let's see what's up.
Okay, I'll ring.
I don't quite get it, though. You said in a letter that the police and the courts have done all they can.
Well, at least that makes it sound legitimate, doesn't it?
Oh, I suppose it's legitimate, all right, but...
All right, what do you want?
Well, Valentine.
Lieutenant Johnson, what are you doing here?
I might ask you the same.
And you might get an answer. I have a client living here.
Name of?
Ruth Jennings. But don't you think you might be a gentleman and answer Miss Brooks' question?
I might. Come on in. I have a client here, too. Except when you have them, they're usually alive. When I get them, they're always dead.
Mrs. James, I know you've told Lieutenant Johnson everything you can, but I figure I might be helped, too. After all, you sent for me.
So, would you tell us just what happened?
It was about 8 o'clock this morning. I heard little Emmy, that's Ruth's baby. I heard Emmy crying, and I wondered why Ruth hadn't got a bottle. I went into the room, and...
That's when you found your sister had been killed?
Yes, the baby was in the bassinet, and she was there in her bed, and there was blood all over. I went to her, but I knew it was too late.
Tell me, Mrs. James, didn't you hear a shot at any time?
No, I don't think so. Sometime during the night, I heard something that sounded like a car backfiring, but I didn't think anything of it. I went right back to sleep.
And was your husband here?
I didn't call him. He was in his bed. It was dark, and... Please don't suspect Bert. He'd never do a thing like that.
Mrs. James, in your letter, you said your sister's life was being threatened. Somebody wanted to kill her. Who?
Her husband, that's who. They're divorced. He wanted the baby. He said if she didn't give him the baby, he'd kill her, and he did.
Mm-hmm. And were your sister and your husband on good terms?
Of course. Oh, Bert was always telling Ruth to get a place of her own so we could have our privacy. But he's a very calm man.
Yes, I understand, Mrs. James. Now, Lieutenant Johnson tells me the shotgun that killed your sister was found at the foot of her bed. Did your husband own a shotgun?
No, he didn't. He didn't even like hunting.
Did your brother-in-law own one?
Oh, I'm sure he did. He was quite a hunter. He used to go out in the desert all the time to shoot rabbits.
What's the husband's name, Mrs. James?
It's Lou. Lou Jennings.
Where does he live?
We don't know that. All we know is that he works at a lunchroom on Barton Avenue. Nick's All Night Cafe, it's called.
You have the address of the place?
No, we don't. We weren't interested. Ruth was trying to get Lou out of her life entirely.
Yes, I understand. But you feel very sure that...
Valentine.
Yes, Lieutenant?
Come on out here. I want to talk.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. James. We'll see what we can do. Wilson?
All right, George. Goodbye, Mrs. James.
Goodbye, Mr. Valentine.
Any leads, Johnson? Any fingerprints on that shotgun?
No.
What time was she killed?
Doc says somewhere around midnight. Now, look, Valentine, I realize you had a client, but your client is dead, murdered. So you don't have a job anymore. And when there's a murder, we have some people called the police who handle these things.
But, Lieutenant...
That's all right, Brooksy. I understand what the good lieutenant means. Okay, Johnson, it's your baby. Good luck.
Well, thanks. For once, you're using sense and staying out of my hair. Be seeing you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, sure, Lieutenant. Sorry I can't give you a hand here. Let's go, Angel.
But, George...
So long, Johnson.
George Valentine, sometimes I can't understand you.
No? Why not?
Well, in the first place, it isn't like you to walk out on a case, and in the second place, you took $200 from those people, and you should...
No, don't get in an uproar, Angel. They'll get their money's worth.
Huh? What do you mean? How?
Oh, I just have a feeling Johnson could use a little help, even though he doesn't seem to think so. Besides, I like to earn my fees.
So, what are you going to do?
So, I'll take a little trip out to Nick's All Night Cafe. Want to come along and have a hamburger?
Hello? You are the people who want to see me?
Yeah, you're the owner of this cafe?
That's right. I'm Nick.
My name is Valentine. And, Nick, this is Miss Brooks.
Hello, Miss Brooks.
How do you do?
What can I do for you?
Well, you have a man by the name of Jennings, Lou Jennings. He's working here, huh?
Sure, that's right.
Well, we'd like to talk to him, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry, but this is not possible right now. Jennings, he's on nights. He works from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning.
Uh-huh. Did he work last night?
Oh, sure.
Did he leave here any time during those 12 hours?
No, I don't think so. Why you look for him?
He's
connected with something that happened last night, Nick.
Say, tell me, was there any time that he might have left before 6 o'clock this morning without your knowing?
No. Only during the time I take my wife home. About 12 o'clock. She helps.
How long were you gone then, Nick?
I don't know. Maybe a half an hour, no more.
George, that could be it. They don't know exactly what time the murder took place.
Murder?
Remember?
Is that what you say? Oh, if he's mixed up in the murder...
We don't know that he is, Nick, but we want to find out. I suppose you have his home address.
Oh, sure. It's on... wait, I looked in my book. Oh, yeah. Here it is. On Elizabeth Street.
1036. Okay, thanks.
But, Jennings, I don't understand. You mean he could be mixed up in a murder?
It's quite possible he isn't, Nick. Matter of fact, I have some other ideas myself. Okay, Brooksy, you go back to the office and wait for me. I'm going out to Elizabeth Street and have a chat with Lou Jennings.
Yes?
Hello, Lou Jennings.
Lou Oh, goodness, no, you have the wrong room. My name is Ferris, Oscar Ferris.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Jennings does live here.
Yes, the second door down the hall.
Oh, thanks. Think he's in now?
Well, now, I really wouldn't know about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, sorry to bother you. Thanks.
That's quite all right.
Yeah?
Lou Jennings?
Yeah, that's right.
Mind if I come in?
No, wait a minute. Look, what...
Thanks. My name's Valentine. Just want to ask you some questions.
What kind of questions?
For one thing, I'd like to know where you were last night. All last night.
What do you want to know for?
Want it straight?
Well, sure, but
Okay. Because something's happened and the police think you're responsible.
What do you mean, something has happened?
I suppose you know your wife's been murdered.
Oh. Yeah?
Just, oh, yeah. You don't seem very surprised or upset.
Surprised? Sure I am. But I'm not very upset. She's pretty nasty to me. Wouldn't even let me see my own kid.
Yeah, I know that. Did you kill your wife, Jennings?
No, of course I didn't kill her. I got an alibi, you know.
Oh, yeah, sure, it looks that way. But where were you while your boss was away from the cafe last night?
Well, I was right there all the time.
Oh, yeah? Any customers?
Yeah. A couple of guys come in, but I didn't know them.
Ah, that's too bad. Might have given you a perfect alibi.
Don't worry, I got one. You don't think I could get over to the James house and back and kill my wife besides while the boss was out there?
Maybe not. Look, Jennings, don't be surprised if a Lieutenant Johnson comes by to pick you up.
I got nothing to worry about.
Okay. And since you didn't kill her, got any ideas who did?
No. What would I know? Unless that dirty brother-in-law of hers...
Say, Lou, I got a good way to get rid of those... Oh, I didn't know there was anybody here.
It's all right, James. All right, come on in. This is Jim Grayson, Mr. Valentine, another hash slinger. Lives in the next room. We both work nights. Valentine is kind of a private eye or something, Jim.
Private eye? Well, what...
He tells me my wife was killed last night.
Ruth? Gosh. She what?
Yeah. Somebody didn't like her and just bumped her off, I guess. You, think I'm crying?
No, I know how you felt about Ruth.
All right, gentlemen, all right. I'm afraid I have to go. I just can't stand your grief. And, give my regards to Lieutenant Johnson, will you, Jennings?
George.
Yeah, Angel?
I've been very patient. But would you mind telling me what you're doing? We drive to Nick's Cafe, and you don't go in. Then you start driving to James' house.
Where I also won't go in. Well, here we are.
What are you trying to prove, George?
Yeah. Took us just 15 minutes.
So?
So, Lou Jennings didn't kill his wife.
And would you mind telling me what process of deduction brought you to that conclusion?
Simple. The boss was away for half an hour. Jennings was there when he got back. If it takes 15 minutes each way to the James house, how would anyone have time to get in and out of a car on both ends?
And murder somebody besides, I know. Then who did?
I don't know yet. But I just want to check up on another hash slinger after he goes to work tonight.
Another one? Who?
A fellow by the name of Grayson has the next room to Jennings in that rooming house. They might possibly be in cahoots. He said something that didn't sound quite kosher while I was out there.
Such as?
Such as, I got a way to get rid of those.
Those what?
That's what I'd like to know. Because maybe he didn't yet. We're going to take another little trip out to that rooming house tonight after Grayson goes to work. And Brooksy, maybe we'll find out.
Well, that was easy enough, George. Don't any rooming houses ever lock their doors?
I guess not, Angel. Well, this is Jennings' room. The next one is Grayson's. For the moment, one of my two candidates.
But whatever he'd found a way to get rid of, maybe he did.
And maybe he didn't. No light under the door, so he's out all right. Here we go.
Must be a light switch someplace.
Here it is.
Yeah. Always feel like a criminal when we walk into somebody's house. And George, what?
Yeah. It's Jim Grayson, all right. But I'm afraid he can't help us much with a bullet through his neck. He's dead.
We'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine in just a moment. Listen to the difference. Yes, now you can actually hear authentic scientific proof of the difference between new RPM motor oil and premium type motor oils as designated by the American Petroleum Institute. Auto engines are equipped with irradiated piston rings, and during operation, minute particles of radioactive metal wear off the rings. Geiger counters are thus able to detect the amount of wear actually taking place. Listen now as the Geiger counters click off the difference. First, the low wear rate of new RPM. Now, the much faster wear rate of the conventional oil. Now, new RPM again. You have just heard authentic scientific proof that new RPM motor oil cuts in half the wear rate of critical engine parts, doubles the life of the average auto engines between major overhauls due to lubrication. Proved in the laboratory and checked out in severe road service, new RPM motor oil is sold with a money-back guarantee of satisfaction. Ask for it at standard stations and independent Chevron gas stations, where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. A man murders his wife, or so the police think. But if your name is George Valentine, you can't just figure out how he could possibly have done it in the short time for which he doesn't have an alibi. You suspect an accomplice, the man who lives next door in his rooming house, a Jim Grayson. But he can't tell you anything now because he's dead. Maybe that washes up the case. Maybe Lou Jennings killed the man he hired to kill his wife. But you don't think so. Somebody killed Ruth Jennings, and somebody killed Jim Grayson. But
who? That's what I want to know. Who?
What about Lou Jennings, George? You thought maybe Jennings and Grayson were in cahoots, and if they...
Miss Brooks, Lou Jennings couldn't have killed this guy. He's in custody. I picked him up this afternoon.
You've got Jennings in custody for what?
Suspicion of murder.
After what you found out, George, Lieutenant Johnson will have a hard time proving that, won't he?
Wait a minute. Just what did you find out?
That it was practically impossible for him to have murdered his wife. Matter of chronology, old boy.
Matter of what?
Nothing. Just proves that when you go to school, people who didn't can't understand you.
But I did go to... Hey, Valentine, where you going?
Like I said about the last one, this is your baby, Johnson. See you later.
But...
Don't make like a goat, Lieutenant. Stop butting. Goodbye.
George.
Yeah, Angel.
You didn't have to be quite so disagreeable to Lieutenant Johnson, did you? He's been nice to you.
Yeah? When? Mention once.
I can't. But the stairs are the other way, George. Why are we going...
Just a neighborly call, that's all.
Do you know who lives in this room?
By name only, this afternoon. Timid little character by the name of Oscar Ferris.
What are you trying to...
Yes?
How do you do, sir?
Oh, how do you do? Oh, you're the man who was here before.
Yeah, that's right. My name's Valentine, and this is Miss Brooks. Mind if we come in?
Well, what can I say? But I don't understand.
Just wanted to ask you a question or two, that's all. Like, did you hear a commotion in the next room any time this afternoon?
Oh, goodness, no. Was there one?
You've been in your room here for the past few hours?
Yes, of course.
You know the man who lives in the next room?
Oh, yes, just a fellow by the name of Grayson. Rather a nice chap, I think.
He was a nice chap, you mean?
What's that? I'm afraid I don't...
Mr. Grayson is dead.
Dead? Why, he seems such a healthy sort of man. I can't understand.
What's your business, Mr. Ferris?
Me? Well, I'm retired, so I don't really have any business anymore. I devote most of my time to church work. I teach Sunday school, you know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just surprised that you didn't hear all the noise in the next room. The police have been there for quite a while.
The police? But why in the world would the police be interested in Mr. Grayson?
Well, I guess they wouldn't if he'd died a normal death, Mr. Ferris. You see, he was murdered.
Murdered? Oh, but great. Oh, that's horrible. But I can't understand why I didn't hear a gun going off and right in the next room, too.
Uh-oh. No, I can't understand that either, Mr. Ferris.
Oh, goodness. I wish I could be of some help.
Well, perhaps you can. You know, sometimes just a little information helps the police quite a lot. You wouldn't mind going down to police headquarters with Lieutenant Johnson and telling him everything you know about Grayson, would you? And about Lou Jennings?
Lou Jennings? Well, what's he got to do with all this?
Maybe nothing, Mr. Ferris, but after all, he's Mr. Grayson's neighbor in the room on the other side.
Oh, yes, I see. Of course, you mean Jennings might be involved in this thing some way. Where is he?
He's down at headquarters already, Mr. Ferris.
Oh, well, of course. I'll help all I can.
Good, thanks. Hey, Brooksy, go next door and tell Lieutenant Johnson that Mr. Ferris is anxious to cooperate. We'll see you later, Ferris.
George.
Yeah, Brooksy?
You picked up a paper from Mr. Ferris's table when he wasn't looking, didn't you?
You notice everything, don't you?
What? Why'd you pick it up?
Oh, my gastronomic urge got the better of me, Angel. It was a menu from Nick's Cafe. It sort of intrigued me.
Oh. All right. Be an enigma. You think he knows anything?
I don't know. I just can't understand why he didn't hear anything in the next room, that's all. Even if you're reading next week's Sunday school lesson, you could still hear. Hey, wait a minute. Get in the car.
George, what is it? You got something?
Probably not, but it's worth a try.
What are you going to do?
Go back to the James house.
Where Ruth Jennings was killed?
Yeah.
What good will that do?
Maybe nothing. I don't know. Just trying to tie in some loose ends.
But, George, if you think Jennings and Grayson were in cahoots and Grayson killed Ruth Jennings... No, I'm all tangled up.
I'm sort of tangled up myself, Angel. We might find something that'll help us untangle. I hope. I'm sorry we have to get you up at this time of night, Mrs. James.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Valentine. Lieutenant Johnson was here a while ago, too, but he left.
Is your husband home now, Mrs. James?
No, he isn't. He was here, but he left about 8 o'clock. He was going out to play poker with some friends of his.
Well, we don't want to keep you up, but we didn't want you to be wondering what was going on. I'd just like to take a look around the back of the house, if you don't mind.
Oh, I know. That's all right.
Just to get one thing straight. You feel sure that the person who killed your sister came in the back door some way? Is that right?
Oh, yes. I locked the door before we went to bed. But in the morning, the back door was unlocked, and Bert always goes out the front door when he leaves for work. That's a snap lock.
Yeah, I see, Mrs. James. Well, thank you. And don't be worried if you hear us poking around the backyard, will you?
Of course not. And I do hope you can find out who killed Ruth.
We'll try. This way to the back door?
Yes, right out there. I'll let you out and lock it after you. Unless you need me some more.
No, I'm sure we won't, Mrs. James. Good night.
Good night.
All right, George. Would you mind telling me just what you hope to find out here? Is it... You think the murderer lives here? You think Bert James is...
Please, I haven't the slightest idea. It's a shot in the dark.
Well, as long as we don't get shot in the dark.
I always knew there'd be some use for this pencil flashlight you gave me for Christmas, Brooksy.
Well, I thought it might
be.
A chicken house. I don't see... You're not going in there.
Sure. And you're going to stay outside and wait for me. Outside, you. Inside, Just us chickens.
George.
Wait right there, Angel. Be out in a minute.
Please hurry, George. I don't like it.
Oh, shut up. It isn't morning yet. Oh, but this is just a flashlight. It's not going to hurt you. Now, let's see. Sacks of feed. Behind there, except crates. It's probably a wild goose chase anyway, but... Uh-oh. Hey, it looks like blood. Uh-huh. And on the inside. Brooksy, I got something. Cut down, Brooksy. Don't let them see you. I'm coming out.
Hurry, George. Come on.
Keep down, Angel. We're going to get out of here.
You think it's Bert? Think he's been outside the house here all the time?
Could be. I don't know. Probably saw the flashlight and heard the hen setting up a row. It's fairly dark anyway. We'll make for the back of the yard. Come on.
Yeah, okay, George.
Take it easy now. Don't make any noise.
Well, how can you help it when you...
All right, stand still, you. I got you covered.
George, that sounded like...
How could you mistake that voice? Okay, Johnson, we'll go peaceably.
Hey, what in the name of heaven are you doing? That's Valentine, isn't it?
Sure, Johnson. Brooksy gave me a flashlight for Christmas, and I was just trying it out.
Look, Valentine, didn't I tell you this morning that we have some people called the police
who handle these things?
What are you doing in that chicken house?
Just being a good scout, trying to give you a helping hand, Lieutenant. Now all you have to do is find the hands that were in these blood-stained work gloves, and the hand that held this flashlight.
You found those in there?
Yeah, that's right, and I'm turning them over to you for evidence. Might check the prints on that flashlight, too. Now, will you do me a little favor?
Yeah, what?
Let's have a little party down at headquarters. Would you mind inviting 3 people in for questioning?
What 3 people?
Lou Jennings, if you're not still holding him. Oscar Ferris, who lives in his boarding house. And Bert James, if you can find out where he's playing poker.
Valentine, are you nuts? Jennings has a perfect alibi. We've released him. Ferris is a little Sunday school teacher who wouldn't hurt a flea and... Oh. You think...
Sometimes I do. I have an idea one of those 3 is going to give us a tip to 2 murders. See you at headquarters in half an hour.
Okay, right in here, Mr. Ferris. Guess you know Mr. Valentine. He wants to ask you some questions.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Valentine?
Oh, hello, Mr. Ferris. Yes, I wanted to ask you how long you've known Lou Jennings.
Oh, I don't know. 6 months, I guess.
Mm-hmm. How'd you meet him?
Why, in the cafe where he works, I think. Yes, that was it. I was saying that I had to move. And he told me he'd get me a room in the boarding house where he lives. He's very nice.
Do you know Jennings' wife, Mr. Ferris?
No, I don't. I believe they're divorced.
Look, Valentine, you're acting like the DA. Just what do you...
Just a second, Lieutenant, please. Ferris, I gathered you must be pretty good friends since Jennings owed you money.
Owed me money? Well, what do you mean?
This. I picked up this menu from Nick's Cafe when we were in your room this morning. It says, when you get back from your trip, I'll see that you get your $1,000. And it's signed... Lou Jennings.
Oh, yes, that. Well, I did advance Jennings
You
some
didn't
money.
advance Jennings anything, Ferris. That was the money you were to get for killing his wife.
Killing his... Well, what do you mean?
Just what I said. You killed Ruth Jennings, Lou Jennings' wife.
His wife? Wait, no, that dirty rat. He didn't tell me that...
He didn't tell you what, Ferris?
But I didn't know it was his wife.
But you did know it was Grayson when you killed him, didn't you? He'd heard you make the deal with Jennings, and you were afraid he'd spill the whole thing.
Well, Jennings got me into this. He told me it was some woman who had an incurable disease, and her husband would pay $1,000 to have her done away with. Told me just how to do it. Why don't you get Jennings?
We've got Jennings in the other room, Ferris.
Why, that dirty rat. He never did pay me. All he gave me was $50 on account.
Yeah, well, you won't need money now. Maybe Jennings will only get life. But you'd better be deciding what you want for your last dinner.
George, why did you suspect Ferris in the first place?
Oh, because when we asked him if he heard a commotion in the next room when Grayson was murdered, he said he hadn't heard a gun going off.
Oh.
I didn't say Grayson was shot. Then that note from Jennings on the back of our menu, that didn't taste good to me.
Yeah, I know, but why did those things in the chicken house prove anything against Ferris?
Well, he must have been a very careful guy, Brooks. He didn't want to lose anything. He forgot that inside those work gloves, he'd carefully marked OF for Oscar Ferris.
Oh, but you suspected Grayson once before he was killed. What did he find a way to get rid of?
Warts.
Warts?
Yeah, he had a bottle of stuff on his dresser with a big label. Now you can get rid of warts.
Oh, big clue, huh?
Yeah, big clue. Oh, look, Angel, it's all over. We've made $200. It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
And we're 2 sleepy people, but too much.
Too much what, Angel?
Don't you ever remember any old popular songs, darling?
2 sleepy people, but too much in love to say? Oh.
Darling, you remembered. You're wonderful.
When your car begins to squeak and rattle, it's saying money, 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 money. And it's a reminder that 60% of all auto repair bills are the fault of irregular and poor lubrication. You can avoid those repair bills and at the same time enjoy smoother, quieter riding the year round. Just come back to your independent Chevron gas station or your standard station every 1,000 miles. Here, chassis lubrication is another car saver service that is done thoroughly and correctly. The car savers check more than 50 different trouble points, and they follow a lubrication chart that is designed specifically for your car. Another important thing, they do a neat, clean lubrication job. So if you've already driven 1,000 miles or more without a chassis lubrication, why not ask for this car saver service tomorrow? Ask at your standard station or your independent Chevron gas station where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. Tonight's transcribed adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard Oil Company of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West. Robert Bailey is starred as George with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. Let George Do It was written and directed by Don Clark. Ken Christie as Lieutenant Johnson. Michael Ann Barrett was heard as Eunice. Anthony Barrett as Lou. Howard McNear as Ferris. And Jack Crucian as Nick. The music was composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter. Your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. Let George Do It is heard overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service.
This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, finding out how to get rid of it was, I guess, a pretty clever red herring. Perhaps most of note in this episode was Lieutenant Johnson enforcing the police's prerogatives as the people who are investigating the case. This is not terribly unusual for the detective show genre, reflecting the reality that police officers would, all things considered, not have a bunch of non-police officers running around murder scenes. But it's somewhat unusual on this particular series because, I think there may have been an occasional peep, but not to the extent we heard in this episode from Lieutenant Johnson. It'll be interesting to see if this kind of forms a new dynamic for the rest of the series, or if this is just kind of a passing thing the writers did for this particular episode. All right, well, we turn to listener comments and feedback. I want to say a special thanks to Jim, who forwarded along some pictures of old service stations. Quite a variety. It was a forwarded email. But this turned out to be actually pretty nice. There were a variety of stations, including some older Texaco and Shell stations, but also a few standard gas stations. So it's nice to be able to take a look and see, what type of station was being promoted on the program. So thanks so much for that. Well, we do have just one other listener comment. Karen just says simply, I love Let George Do It. Well, thanks so much, Karen, and we appreciate you listening out there. That will actually do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow with Sherlock Holmes, and join us next week for another episode of Let George Do It. Well, today's episode of the Great Detectives Old Time Radio is brought to you by the support of our listeners. Thank you so much for your support. Well, now it's time for today's episode of Sherlock Holmes. This one's called The Bleeding Chandelier.
From New York City, the makers of Clipper Craft Clothes for Men and 1,036 leading retail stores from coast to coast present the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. This week's story, The Case of the Bleeding Chandelier. Well, here we are once more in Dr. Watson's familiar study. Outside, a drowsy June day is drawing to a close. It's too warm to do anything but just sit and relax.
There's a fine mood that is, Mr. Harris. However, I know two things that I think will snap you out of it.
Well, what's that, Dr. Watson?
Well, the first is the adventure which Sherlock Holmes always referred to as the case of the bleeding chandelier.
A bleeding chandelier, Doctor?
Right. It was made of old Russian silver, and whenever a catastrophe was due to happen to anyone of the house of Mortlake, the chandelier was supposed to shed tears of blood. Well do I remember sitting in the crumbling old banqueting hall of Mortlake Castle, listening to the ominous beat of the sea on the cliffs outside and waiting for the first spatter of blood. Yes, I think that story may just possibly help to dispel the heat.
I'll say so. I'm feeling chills up and down my spine already, Doctor.
Oh, good, but that isn't going to keep me from giving you my second suggestion about making the summer heat bearable.
Now, Dr. Watson, you wouldn't by any chance be leading up to a few remarks about that new tropical weight Clippercraft suit you're wearing?
And why not? Yes, sir, it not only feels cool, unlike most tropicals, it keeps its shape. It stays neat and natty.
In short, shipshape. To use your own expression, Dr. Watson.
Right, Mr. Harris. And you know, when you look crisp and tidy, it helps you feel cool and comfortable.
It certainly does. And Clippercraft prices won't raise your temperature either. Remember that. When things proceed according to plan, it means efficiency. When clothing is made according to plan, it means the same thing. The Clippercraft plan is dedicated to just one thing, giving you the best clothing values possible. If you join the millions who insist on clothes made according to the Clippercraft plan, you buy high-quality Clippercraft suits for only $40 to $47.50. Find tropicals for only $33.75 to $40, and sport jackets for only $26.50. Such values would not be possible unless they were planned values. In the Clippercraft plan, 1,036 of the nation's finest independent stores voluntarily concentrate their buying power to provide steady year-round operation, to reduce manufacturing and distribution costs in order to deliver the savings to you. In days like these, every penny you save is important to your budget. So, may we suggest that you compare Clippercraft with clothes selling for many dollars more. And now, Dr. Watson, back to Mortlake Castle and the chandelier that shed tears of blood. Or did it refuse to live up to its reputation?
As a matter of fact, yes, it was rather curious blood, as it turned out. But to begin at the beginning, let me see, it was a murky midsummer day in the late 90s. When Holmes came in to breakfast, he found a large envelope addressed in a scrawling, rather flamboyant hand and with a decidedly grandiose purple seal affixed to the back flap.
Morning, Watson.
Oh, Holmes, I thought you were never going to get up. I see there's a tremendously important-looking letter waiting for you.
Really? A communication from the court chamberlain, I presume, telling me I'm to be knighted.
Oh, don't be an ass.
What's so asinine about that? What did I do with my tobacco? Plenty of pompous nonentities without 1/10 my brains have managed to get themselves on the honors list. Confound that tobacco pouch. Where is it?
Oh, never mind your tobacco pouch. Here, have a cigar and sit down and open your mail.
Oh. Thank you, Watson. Yes, your practice must be improving. Your cigars are becoming quite respectable. Yes, quite respectable.
Holmes, you old fraud. I don't think for 1 minute you mislaid your tobacco pouch. There it is in the pocket of your dressing gown.
Well, so it is. Now, fancy that.
Yes, you were just trying to wangle one of my new cigars. I say, how in blazes did you know I'd been given a box of Coronas?
My dear Watson, the Morning Times lists the birth of another son to Mr. Harridge, the hair tonic millionaire, and to Mrs. Harridge, too, of course. He always gives you Coronas on these occasions.
Holmes, will you stop blithering and open that letter?
Dear, impatient this morning, aren't we? Yes, Watson, you're as anxious and high-strung as any prospective father when you think you see a new case in the offing.
Holmes, will you please open?
Very well, very well. Now, what have we here?
The postmark says Mort's Bay. That's in North Devon, if I'm not mistaken.
No, for once you're correct.
I believe Mortlake Castle overlooks Mort's Bay.
Correct again. Your average is rising, Watson.
Well, then the letter must be from Lord Roger Mortlake, the 7th Baron Embers. Only the man who's head of the family would have such a dashing handwriting and would seal his letters with the family crest.
Back to normal, Watson.
What do you mean?
In the first place, it's not the Mortlake seal. It's a much newer crest, the one invented by the late Samuel Pridgett, 1st Baron Waterhole, the ginger beer tycoon. Furthermore, the letter was written by a woman, his widow to be exact, so you're wrong on both counts. However, it was sent from Mortlake Castle, where it seems Lady Pridgett is visiting.
Well, what does the old girl want?
Us, Watson, or more specifically, me. You may come along if you can manage to tear yourself away from the Harridges and their progeny.
What's up at Castle Mortlake?
Here, read the letter for yourself.
Dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I'm not easily intimidated. However, when I find a note pinned to my pillow which reads, "Beware, if you proceed with the marriage, the chandelier will drip blood." In such an event, Mr. Holmes, I deem it wise to seek counsel and possibly protection. Will you come to Mortlake as my guest, incognito, of course? I shall introduce you as my cousin, Sherwood Jones. I suggest you arrive at Barnstable by the 3:10 on Thursday. I myself shall meet you. The walls of this old mausoleum called Mortlake Castle have many ears, it seems. However, the drive to the castle is a long one. I shall be able to give you all the details of a thoroughly sinister situation in the privacy of the carriage. Furthermore, the family coachman is quite deaf. Do come and relieve the anxiety of a troubled woman. Yours in desperation, Amelia, Lady Pridgett. P.S. I understand you have a medical secretary or helper. By all means, fetch him along. He can be my husband's cousin, Dr. Botsam. Well, I refuse to be called Botsam.
Very well, then. Stay and minister to the Harridges. Personally, I shall go and pack.
Yes, we haven't too much time if we're to catch today's train. I say, Holmes, if there's a wedding house party at Mortlake Castle, it should be all rather posh, eh? Shall we take white tie or black, do you think, huh?
You may take your entire trousseau, my dear Watson. Personally, I shall be content with a rather complete chemical kit and your army revolver.
See, these old family carriages are quite comfortable and roomy, eh, Holmes?
We shall be lucky if this ancient omnibus doesn't fall apart before we return to Castle Mortlake.
Yes, I gather, Lady Pridgett, that it's been in the family for some time.
It has indeed, Mr. Holmes. It's the famous old Berlin in which Roger's great-great, well, I can't remember how many greats, grandfather made his famous grand tour of Europe. It took him 3 years, I believe. He even went as far as St. Petersburg. That's where the trouble began.
What trouble, Lady Pridgett?
Well, the young fool met a Princess Olaf and fell head over heels in love with her. It seems she was a favorite godchild of Catherine the Great. Lord Mortlake managed to marry her, and they returned to England with an enormous Russian wolfhound and that cursed silver chandelier in this very carriage.
This chandelier, I take it, Lady Pridgett, is the same one which is now supposed to drip blood whenever there's to be a catastrophe in the Mortlake family.
That's right, Mr. Holmes.
When is this colourful phenomenon first supposed to have occurred?
Well, it all began with the death of the Russian princess herself. She had a bit of a temper, it seems. No one could polish her silver chandelier to suit her. She had the habit of hitting anyone who didn't please her with a nasty little riding whip. One morning, there was a new red-headed girl up on a ladder working away at the silver chandelier when her ladyship swept into the banquet hall. One look, and the Russian burst into her usual torrent of rage. She hit the redhead across the face. Now, it so happened the girl was Irish. And if there's a stronger temperament in this world than the Russian, sure it's the Irish.
Right you are there.
Well, Bridget or Nora, or whatever her name was, snatched the little whip from her mistress's hand, and then looking her straight in the eye, she laid on her the terrible strangler's curse of Donegal. Then she strode from the room and slammed the great door after her.
Good for her.
The Russian could be heard screaming that she'd polished the chandelier herself. They heard her bolt the door. All afternoon, she could be heard laughing and singing wild Cossack songs. As evening came on, the singing ceased. The Russian princess didn't appear at the supper table, but no one dared go fetch her. As the evening wore on, her wolfhound began to whimper outside the locked door. Shortly before midnight, he started to howl. Finally, Lord Mortlake could stand it no longer.
It's midnight. She's sulked long enough. I'm going in after her. Quiet, Boris. Down, boy. Sonia! Sonia, let us in! Sonia, unbolt the door! Sonia! Confound the woman. We shall have to break in the door. Boris, stop that. Door's heavy. We need a battering ram. Bring that long bench. That's it. Let you do the trick. Now then. 1, 2, 3. That's done it. Good Lord, it's black in there. Sonia, come out. Sonia, do you hear me? Someone give me the torch. Boris, what's the matter? The animal's trembling like a leaf. Hand me the torch. That's better. Now then we'll see. The ladder's lying on the floor. Good Lord. The chandelier. She's hanging from the chandelier. She's strangled by her own hair.
Well, that was the end of the Russian princess, Mr. Holmes. Of course, she had thoughtfully provided the Mortlakes with an heir before her fatal accident.
Consequently, there is a streak of violent Russian blood in the present inhabitants of Mortlake Castle, I take it.
Right, Mr. Holmes. And whenever there's to be a death in the family, that blood is supposed to flow from the Russian chandelier. Personally, after Roger and I are married, I shall insist he get rid of the ugly eyesore. Yes, and I shall see he buys a new carriage, too. He pretends the family still uses this ancient relic for sentimental reasons, but everyone knows it's because he can't afford a new one. Well, you look shocked, Dr. Watson.
No, not at all.
To be brutally frank, gentlemen, it is the accepted opinion in all the drawing rooms and public houses of Devonshire that I am marrying Lord Roger Mortlake for his social position, and he is marrying me for my money.
Well, I'm sure that...
Well, they're wrong, Dr. Watson. Roger and I have been in love ever since we first attended Miss Hermione Tilsbury's dancing classes. We should have been married 20 years ago, but his father broke off the match. You see, we were both as poor as church mice, and it takes a whacking amount of money to run Mortlake Castle.
Well, one of the blessings of being nobody, Holmes? You can marry to suit yourself.
Don't interrupt, Watson.
The irony of the situation, Mr. Holmes, is that Roger was persuaded to marry one of the Burdock girls, whose father was supposed to have quids. The father managed to go through his fortune shortly afterwards and died bankrupt.
Poetic justice, Holmes?
I, on the other hand, married Henry Pridget, a jolly, good-natured little man with no prospects whatever, and he up and acquired millions. Dear Henry, we had a very pleasant life together.
So now you're determined to marry your first love.
We females are curiously single-minded creatures, Mr. Holmes. It's always dangerous to frustrate a woman.
Quite. Tell me, Lady Pridget, is there anyone at Mortlake Castle who's opposed to your marriage to Lord Roger Mortlake?
Quite a few, I should imagine, Mr. Holmes. The First Lady Mortlake's personal maid, old Buffon. She glares at me as if I were a mongrel that had wandered in off the streets. And James, he's Roger's son. He resents the fact that we didn't wait at least 2 years after his mother's death. The girls, I must say, are more realistic. Possibly because they realize my money will buy them quite a few social opportunities they should not otherwise enjoy. Yes, on the whole, I have more respect for James's attitude. Although I shall pay it no heed, mind you.
I quite understand.
And then, of course, there's Hubert. He's Roger's younger brother, still a bachelor at 57. He's the only one that's really enthusiastic about the match. But then I've always been able to wind Hubert around my little finger.
Even more easily than Lord Roger?
Oh, good heavens, yes. Roger's a mule. And besides that, he has principles. He absolutely refused to run away with me 20 years ago, and I had the devil of a time persuading him to propose after we were both free again. He has scruples about accepting my money, it seems. I finally pointed out that it was pure selfishness. He might enjoy being a pauper and watching Mortlake Castle crumble over his head, but was it fair to the children?
And that persuaded him?
Well, of course I was wearing my new Paris shirtwaist at the time, the one with the peekaboo bodice.
I see.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I must warn you about one thing, gentlemen. There's to be the usual big wedding rehearsal dinner at the banquet hall tonight. The Mortlakes are great ones for drinking toast.
Oh, bridal champagne and all that, eh? Jolly, eh, Holmes?
Champagne, my foot. At Mortlake Castle, toasts are drunk in Mortlake mead. The recipe for it goes back to their Saxon ancestors. Look out for it, I warn you. It's liquid dynamite.
Ah, yes, mead, or metheglin, to use the ancient term, was a drink supposed to promote health, long life, and vitality. It's made from honey. I'm a bit of a bee fancier myself, you know.
Oh, then you'll have something in common with Hubert. He takes care of the bees at Mortlake. Won't let anyone else go near the hives. Not that anyone wants to, heaven knows. The bees at Mortlake are notoriously short-tempered.
Interesting. I shall see if I can't persuade Hubert.
Oh, dear.
Hello, what's up?
Something's frightened the horses.
Oh, dear. Look, they're running away.
No, the coachman has them under control.
He stopped the carriage. What's the trouble, Benjamin? Oh, dear, I keep forgetting he's deaf. He's getting down off the box.
Sir Holmes, there's something lying in the road up ahead. The driver's gone to investigate. It's getting so dark I can't wait.
Watson, you stay out here with Lady Bridget. I'll go and see if Benjamin needs help. Wind rising. That pounding up ahead, that will be the sea. It must be close to Mortlake Castle. Yes, let's see what we've got. Lantern! Benjamin, give me the lantern. A sheep. Quite dead. Still bleeding. Nasty series of gashes across the throat.
There be evil coming to Mortlake. It's a sign. When that Russian ghost dog comes back and kills a sheep, it's a sure sign. Mark my word, tonight the Chandelier will drip blood.
Men take real pride in the Clippercraft label, for not alone is it the mark of fine quality, it's proof positive that you're alert enough to get the most for your money. Few have the follow-through that makes really great values possible. The famous Clippercraft plan, our follow-through, literally assures you of satisfaction. Through it, you get the benefit of great savings made by the fact that 1,036 of the nation's finest independent stores from coast to coast have voluntarily concentrated their buying power. It's the reason your Clippercraft dealer shows you such remarkably fine quality in suits for only $40 to $47.50, in tropicals for only $33.75 to $40, and in sport jackets for only $26.50. For selling expensive clothes at inexpensive low prices at the nation's finest stores is the great big idea behind the Clippercraft plan. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes. So be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suits, sport jackets, and tropicals. In Manhattan, Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
And now back to Mortlake Castle, where Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes, all done up in their stiffest shirts and highest colors, are being given a personally conducted tour around the castle by its future mistress, Lady Bridget.
And this is the banquet hall.
Good Lord, it's enormous.
The early Mortlakes took their banqueting seriously, it seems. That's the old maid, Butham, arranging the flowers. Oh, Butham? You might draw the curtains and open the glass doors a moment. I want the gentleman to have a look at the view from this room.
Obedient, but grudging, eh, Holmes? The surf sounds ominous.
Aye. There's a sound of doom in it tonight. You do well, my lady, to leave before there's harm done.
What do you mean by that, Buffum?
She's just trying to frighten me off. It won't work, my girl. It takes more than dead sheep, pounding surf, and dripping chandeliers to get rid of me. That's all. You may close the doors and go.
By the way, that is the chandelier, I take it. The enormous silver one near the great center window.
That's right.
Well, it's certainly spectacular, eh, Holmes? Must hold nearly 100 candles.
122, to be exact. When they're all lit, it creates quite a show of light.
And heat, too, I imagine.
Buffum expressing her disapproval. Well, I'm glad she's gone. She was giving me the fidgets.
I see there's a ladder under the chandelier.
Yes, they're about to light the stupid thing, I imagine.
I think I'll just mount it and take a closer look if you've no objections.
None at all. I'll hold it steady for you.
Thank you, Lady Pridget. Yes, I thought I recognized it.
You mean you've seen the chandelier before?
No, it's twin sister in the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. It's supposed to have been made for Catherine the Great to eliminate any suitors who had lost their charms.
What do you mean by that?
Both chandeliers are hollow. The one in St. Petersburg was so hung that boiling lead could be poured into it from the room above. It eventually found its way out of the mouths of these little silver dolphins and poured itself over the guest of honor seated below. Yes, mouths of these particular dolphins seem to be stopped up, however.
Well, thank heaven for that.
Oh, balderdash. That chandelier doesn't reach to the ceiling. It's too high up. It's hung to a great hook by a long velvet cord.
Yes, the cord looks rather frayed.
Furthermore, there's no room above this. Nothing but that vaulted ceiling up there. Oh, if you think anyone can make the chandelier drip blood by crawling around on the roof, you're very much mistaken.
Yes, it doesn't seem very practical. Who is due to sit at these places directly below the chandelier, Lady Bridget?
Why, that is Roger and I suppose. It's the head of the table, you know.
Yes. Now, suppose we shift things around a bit. Help me, Watson.
Uh-huh.
If we pull the table to one side... a little further, Watson. That's better. Yes. Now, if you'll seat Watson and myself to your left, Lady Pridget.
Now we'll be directly under the chandelier. I say, Holmes, do you have to...
Quiet, Watson. Someone's coming down the hall.
Ah, there you are, Amelia, my dear. Roger's looking all over for you. They're having sherry in the pink drawing room.
Oh, we'll go right along, Hubert. Thank you for telling me. I was just showing my cousins the chandelier.
Oh, how do you like the old monstrosity?
To be quite frank, I don't.
Neither do I. Ah, well, I came in to light the candles on the silly thing.
Tell me, Mr. Mortlake, do you believe this chandelier drips blood whenever there's to be a catastrophe in the family?
Well, something of the sort did happen, you know, when my Uncle Edgar was drowned. I was quite young at the time and terribly impressed by the great brownish drops. Of course, looking back, I realized there was a terrific rainstorm and there may have been a leak in the roof and the water splattered through onto the chandelier and gathered rust and dripped off or something of the sort.
But it's a silver chandelier, Mr. Mortlake.
Why, that's right, Hubert. Silver doesn't rust.
Oh, well, maybe there's some other explanation. I'd better start to light it or they'll be ready for dinner before I've finished. Our butler's getting old, you know. Letters give him vertigo, I'm afraid, so it's up to me.
May I help you? Let me take that silver pitcher you're carrying.
Thank you, no. I'll just put it here on the sideboard. It's the famous Mortlake mead, you know. I was just decanting. But you better run along, Amelia, and take along your cousins, my dear, or Roger will be wilting his collar out of sheer anxiety.
I say, Holmes, I hope you don't have to drink many more toasts. This mead is too dashed potent.
Yes, it has what you might call authority.
Confound it, Holmes. Did you have to put us under the chandelier? Another drop of wax just splashed down my shirt front.
Yes, but this time it's slightly brownish. Yes, the chandelier's really getting hot.
Oh, wax doesn't turn brown with heat.
This wax does, Watson. It's beeswax.
Beeswax? Yes, but the candles are tallow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
What's so interesting about it? Oh, confound it, there's another blob on the back of my hand.
Yes. Yes, it shouldn't be long now.
And now a toast to the happy couple.
Oh,
long life and joy in the living.
Yeah.
Now, Amelia, my dear, I'm sure you'd like to say a few words.
Well,
Holmes, there's blood.
Blood dripping on the tablecloth.
Oh, look! The chandelier, it's bleeding! The chandelier!
Amelia, my dear, I do think you might have told us your guests were the famous Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, not passed them off as your cousins.
Do be quiet, Hubert. Heavens, how long does it take the man to finish his chemical experiments? He looks like a great sinister raven crouched over that retort, with the light from that spirit lamp shining up into his eyes. I almost wish I hadn't asked him to come.
Yes, you may turn down the lamp, Watson. The tests are conclusive.
Mr. Holmes, is it blood?
It is blood, Lady Bridget.
Oh, dear.
Not human blood, however. Sheep's blood. As a matter of fact, it's blood from the same sheep we saw on the road this evening. More blood from that sheep is spattered here on this mackintosh I found rolled up in a chest in the front hall.
Roger! That's your mackintosh.
Don't be alarmed, my dear Lady Bridget. Your fiancé hasn't stepped foot outside all day. The polish on all of his boots is quite untouched. The polish on Hubert Mortlake's brown Oxford has been splotched, however, by blood. Sheep's blood. It's quite easy to borrow a mackintosh, you know. Shoes, however, aren't so adaptable.
You mean Hubert is responsible for the gaudy chandelier?
What? Yes, Hubert. You filled the hollow interior with sheep's blood from that silver pitcher when you came in to light the candles.
But why didn't it drip through at once?
Because he had stopped up the silver dolphins' mouths with beeswax, which only melted from the heat of the candles after they'd been burning for some time. I suspected Hubert was up to something the moment I discovered the dolphin's mouth had been stopped with beeswax.
Hubert, why did you do it?
Because I've always loved you and hated Roger. I was glad when Father made him marry that ugly Burdick girl, but you wouldn't look at me even then, Emily. Well, I made up my mind he'd never get you, never. And now I've lost. Out of my way, everything's lost.
He's running along the tabletop. Stop him.
The chandelier!
He's swinging for the window.
Hubert, look out, you'll crash!
The rope's broken.
The chandelier and Hubert, they've crashed through the window.
Gone over the cliff. He'll be pounded to death on the rocks.
I'm afraid so.
I warned you, milady. I said it was the sound of doom.
You wouldn't have a nice hot cup of soup handy, Dr. Watson.
No, but I can lend you my last winter's overcoat, Mr. Harris.
Well, that was certainly a real old-fashioned chiller-diller, Doctor. But now, could you give us a hint about next week's story?
Well, let me see now. Next week is the last broadcast of the season, Mr. Harris, so I think I'll pick a good old-fashioned hair-raiser.
Fair enough.
Yes, I think I'll tell about a double murder that occurred in Ronda's circus. It concerned a clown and a savage lion and a certain strong man whose courage failed him at the crucial moment. Holmes always called it The Adventure of the Veiled Lodger.
The makers of Clipper Craft Clothes and 1,036 leading stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes is played by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by Alfred Shirley, and the dramatizations are by Edith Miser. Sherlock Holmes is produced and directed by Basil Lochran, with special music by Albert Berman. John Stanley, known best to you as Sherlock Holmes, has turned author. Be sure to read his article, Powder Smoke at 221B Baker Street, in the current issue of Black Mask magazine, now on your newsstand. If you don't know your Clippercraft dealer, write Clippercraft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Be sure to listen next week to Sherlock Holmes in The Adventure of the Veiled Lodger. This
This is Cy Harris speaking for Clippercraft Clothes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Spooky episode here. I thought it was well done right up until the end, where you kind of got this feeling that they sensed that the episode had not been dramatic enough, so they just went over the top at the end of the show. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. And I think we'll have more episodes like this coming up in the next season of Sherlock Holmes, which we'll start hearing in the next couple of weeks. So I turn now to listener comments and feedback, and we just do have one review from Donald E38. I listen regularly and enjoy it very much. That's a review of the app. Truly appreciate all the great reviews we got on the app as well as on the podcast itself, and I do encourage you to leave your reviews if not that, definitely rate us over on iTunes. It definitely helps the show grow. All right, well, that will do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and join us next Thursday, where we'll have the last episode of Sherlock Holmes of the 1947-48 season. Well, I do want to encourage you, if you've not already, to pick up a copy of my ebook, All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo. In it, we take a look at life lessons that can be gleaned from the careers of such great detectives such as Sherlock Holmes, Nero Wolfe, Boston Blackie, Columbo, of course, and Monk. And, of course, we take a little bit of a look at their career and history. If you're a fan of detective fiction, it's something you'll definitely appreciate. It's available as an ebook. It's in the Sony and Kobo stores for those of you who have those readers. And it's in the Kindle store for those of you with the Kindle. For all other ebook readers, you can get it at smashwords.com, and it's only $1.99. In addition to this, I write columns on Golden Age Entertainment and or detective stories. And you can subscribe to the articles. If you have a Kindle, it'll automatically come to your Kindle, and you can try that service out free for 2 weeks. Well, now it's time for today's episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This one is called The Nancy Shaw Matter.
Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum, the refreshing, delicious treat that gives you chewing enjoyment, presents for your listening enjoyment John Lund as Johnny Dollar.
Philip Martin, Johnny.
Oh, yeah. How are you, Mr. Martin?
Fine. Got an assignment for you.
Something interesting?
Well, I think you'll like it. Our company insures a Miss Nancy Shaw.
That's a familiar name.
If you go to the movies, it should be.
Oh, that Nancy Shaw.
Mm-hmm. She was robbed of $100,000 in jewels. Think you can handle it?
Well, I can try. Say, for an assignment like this, I might even consider waiving my expense account.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I sure am. I'll see you at the office. The makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum bring you John Lund in another adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. For refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself to delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. When your mouth and throat feel hot and dry, a stick of Wrigley's Spearmint gives you quick, long-lasting refreshment. The lively, full-bodied spearmint flavor cools your mouth and freshens your taste. The chewing itself helps keep your throat pleasantly moist. Best of all, you can chew and enjoy refreshing Wrigley's Spearmint Gum almost any time and any place. Keep a package handy right in your purse or pocket so you can chew a stick whenever you want it. For refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself to delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Millions enjoy it, and you will too. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Columbia All Risk Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Nancy Shaw matter. Expense account item 1, $193.80, plane fare and incidentals between Hartford and Los Angeles. I arrived at the International Airport at 11 a.m., hired a car, and drove directly to Santa Monica, where I registered at a hotel. Shortly after that, I drove to the Santa Monica police station and introduced myself to Sergeant James Dodd.
I've been expecting you. Your company sent a teletype.
I understand this isn't the first of this type of robbery.
No, been 3 others. Same M.O. Always knows the setup for the house, goes directly to whatever he or she's after.
Why, you think it might be a woman?
But you never know. Each time it's been wealthy families, twice people in the picture business. Here's a list of the articles stolen.
Quite a list. Any of the stuff shown up?
Not yet, but it will.
Miss Shaw was robbed night before last.
Sunday, maid's night out. Each one's been like that. Always the maid's night off. Always the people are out to dinner or something. Whoever it is, very well informed.
I've got to run out and talk with Miss Shaw.
Nice girl. You'll like her. Malibu, number 915. Straight out the highway, turn in the gates at the Colony. I better call and tell her you're coming down, or you'll never get past the patrol.
Patrol?
Yeah, the association that protects the homes in the Colony. They check everybody that comes in the gates.
What about the thief, then?
Well, I think he parked on the highway down from the Colony, walked down to the beach, and busted in the Shaw place from the back way.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Sergeant.
Sure. Anything else, happy to help out.
Took me about half an hour to reach the Colony of Malibu, where the patrol at the gate stopped me. Evidently, Miss Shaw had informed them of my coming because they passed me through. I drove slowly down a narrow street fronted on one side by beautiful homes that faced a long white strip of beach. I was met at the door of number 915 by a maid who showed me through the attractively furnished home to a glassed-in cabana overlooking the ocean. Nancy Shaw, one of the biggest stars at the box office, rose to greet me. She was wearing a white sunsuit, and as she walked toward me, I had the sensation my hair had caught on fire.
Mr. Dollar?
Yeah. How do you do, Miss Shaw?
Sergeant Dodd called, said you were coming down.
I just left him.
Nice cut. Sit down. Get yourself comfortable.
I'll try.
Something wrong?
A little warm.
How about a drink?
Fine.
Bernice? What'll it be?
Anything with a thermostat in it.
Gin and tonic?
That'll do it.
Yes, ma'am. Please bring Mr. Dollar a gin and tonic, and I'll have the same. Yes, ma'am.
It's a wonderful house.
Thank you. I wouldn't live anywhere else.
But isn't it quite a drive to the studio?
Oh, well, when I'm working, I'm generally up around 6. Hardly any traffic. I get there in 25 minutes. Cigarette?
No, thanks.
Tell me about your work, Mr. Dollar.
Well, there's not much to tell. I'm a freelance investigator. Insurance company's got a job, they call me,
And you investigate.
That's about it.
Like your work?
Well, it has its compensations.
For instance?
Well, for instance, Nancy Shaw in a sunsuit.
Oh, thank you.
It says on your insurance report that you've never been married.
Is that so unusual?
In your case, I'd say it was.
I've come close.
What changed your mind?
Men?
Sorry I mentioned it.
Oh, I'm not. I think men are wonderful.
But marriage isn't?
Under the right circumstances, it's great. You married, Mr. Dollar? Why not?
Let's talk about the jewels that were stolen, huh?
All right. Have the police found out anything?
No, not much.
Miss Shaw? Oh, yes, Bernice?
Mr. Astor just called to say he was on his way down.
Oh, thank you. Tell the gate man to let him in, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The patrol at the gate isn't generally this cautious, but since the robbery, they're checking everyone.
According to my report, you were robbed of a ruby pin, 2 diamond rings, a pearl choker, 4 gold bracelets, 2 diamond watches, 3... Well, here's the list. Is it correct?
Yes. Yes, it's correct.
The items were stolen night before last.
Yes. Mr. Dollar.
Yeah?
Do you have to ask me a lot of questions?
Well, it's the usual procedure. If you're expecting company or something, I can come back some other
Oh,
time.
no. I just thought, as long as we've got to spend some time together, we might as well be comfortable. We can go out and sit on the beach.
Well, that sounds fine, but...
Don't you like the beach?
Oh, I love it, but I'm not exactly dressed.
Oh, there's plenty of trunks in the guest house. Should be some your size.
I met her on the beach. She'd changed from the sunsuit to a red bathing suit. She was stretched out on the sand, her face turned up at the sun, and her blonde hair spread out around her shoulders.
Hi.
Hi.
Here. Spread out this towel. Get yourself some sun.
Okay.
You're a little white.
More of a pearl gray, I'd say.
Trunks look fine.
I hunted high and low for a pail and a shovel.
Gonna dig in the sand?
I don't think I've been out on the beach like this since I was 8. I had a pail and shovel then. Seemed only fitting and proper.
Might be fun at that.
Oh, sure. Didn't you used to build castles with moats around them? Let the ocean come in and fill them up?
No, I didn't get to the beach much before I came to California. Then I was a little old for building castles.
Oh, you're never too old to build castles. But then there's always some guy who comes along, running as though he was in training for a 4-minute mile. Never sees your castle and plump.
Runs right over it.
Yeah.
I've had it happen.
But you said you never built castles.
Not in the sand, but I've built them. And they've got stepped on.
Can always build another.
I did. Another. And another.
And now you're living in one. A big, beautiful one. Right on the beach.
Mm-hmm. What's your castle look like, Miss Dye?
Oh, I design all kinds. Sometime when I've got a pail and a shovel, I'll show you. And the name is Johnny.
Hi, Johnny. Sometime you build me a castle.
Sure. Hey, you've got a visitor.
Huh?
Guy just came out of your house. He's headed this way.
Tall, dark, looks like an ad for strength and health.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dave Asher.
Old friend?
Nope. We're engaged.
Oh.
Hello, Dave.
Didn't Bernice tell you I was coming down?
Yes, she told me. This is Mr. Dollar.
How do you do?
This is Dave Asher, Mr. Dollar. He's happy to meet you.
Really?
Don't sulk, Dave. Tell Mr. Dollar you're happy to meet him.
Why?
Because it's too nice a day to put up with one of your moods.
Is this guy the reason you haven't been available for the last few days?
I only met Mr. Dollar an hour ago.
Then you won't miss him. Goodbye, Mr. Dollar.
Goodbye. Have a nice trip.
I don't think you get the point.
Oh, sure I do. You're unhappy, so you're leaving.
Mr. Dollar, maybe you don't know it, but Miss Shaw and I are engaged.
I know it.
Dave, for once in your life, try to act
I drove all the way down here to see you. I haven't seen you since Sunday night, and there's a few things I like to settle. In private. Now, maybe you get the point, Mr. Dollar. I'm not leaving. You are.
Oh, now, this is really too much.
No, wait a minute. Maybe I'd better
You
go.
stay right where you are, Johnny.
Oh, it's Johnny.
Yes, it's Johnny.
My family thought it up.
You're a pretty funny man, huh?
Now, you listen to me. You just go right back out to your car and drive yourself away from me.
I'm not leaving until he does.
I beg your pardon. You're leaving, and you're leaving right now. Now, turn around.
You're serious?
I was never more serious in my life. Now, get off the beach.
We're through.
Fine. I'm sorry, Johnny.
Cigarette?
Thanks. It's rather unpleasant.
You want to borrow my shoulders?
Oh, it's been coming to this for a long time. I don't know why I didn't stop seeing them sooner, except that I really didn't know him for the first few months. Party manners, impress the lady with a well-oiled line. I guess I was being as insincere as he was. This is a town for insincerity, Johnny. It's like the first house I bought. Beautiful. Lived in it for 6 months before I discovered the termites had eaten away half the foundation.
Who is he?
Just a rich young man, spoiled disposition.
He was with you the night you were robbed?
Yes. We had a big fight. He took me home. It was over then. I knew it. I have to admit I was a little dewy-eyed over having made one more mistake. When I discovered the jewelry was missing, it was just too much. I must have cried for 2 whole hours. I have to go to a party tonight, Johnny. Dave and I were invited. What'll I do?
Have a heavy.
That's too easy. We'll be there with someone. What are you doing tonight, Johnny?
No plans.
Will you take me to the party?
Gonna show him you don't care, huh?
I don't want to show him anything. I'd like to show myself.
I play a lousy second fiddle.
You don't have to play anything. Just take me to the party. When you get bored, say goodnight.
Friends, no matter what kind of work you do, it's a real help to chew delicious Wrigley Spearmint Gum right while you're working. When you're warm or tired, for instance, the lively, full-bodied spearmint flavor is really refreshing. It helps keep your mouth and throat feeling cool and moist. Chewing on that smooth, good-tasting piece of Wrigley Spearmint makes the time pass more pleasantly, too. It seems to make your work go smoother and easier. Keep a package or two of Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum handy all the time. Enjoy chewing Wrigley Spearmint while you're working and at other times. That's Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious. And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
I guess it wasn't a very big party by Hollywood standards, but it frightened me. About 150 guests, producers, stars, and some odds and ends that always show up at a party like that. Dave Asher was there, guzzling champagne as though the Texas drought had hit Beverly Hills. About midnight, the party was under full steam, and Nancy led me outside, where a long walk stretched out over half an acre of lawns and wound around a big lighted swimming pool.
Having fun?
Well, I'm a little out of my element.
I thought being together might make the difference.
Being with you is the nicest thing that's happened in a long, long time. But I'd rather be sitting on the beach.
Yes, that would be nice. Johnny? Kiss me.
Well, what was that for?
Does it have to be for something?
Well, doesn't it?
I guess so. I wanted you to kiss me. I thought it might be nice. Hit water.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
Well.
Hello, Dave.
Goodbye, Dave.
Going someplace?
Yes, we were.
Why don't you be a good boy?
I want to talk to you, funny man.
Dave, please.
Let him get it off his chest.
Yeah, it's good for one to get something off one's chest, right?
If you say so.
I do. I say so.
Johnny?
It's all right.
Sure, Nancy, it's all right. Funny man can handle himself. Can't you, funny man?
Look, Sonny, whatever it is you've got to say it and get out of my way.
I don't like you.
Great. I'd hate to be your first friend.
And I don't care much for your date, the little glamour gal. Big movie star, Miss Nancy Shaw.
Be careful.
Yeah?
Please, Johnny.
Okay. Get out of my way, Mr. Asher.
I don't think so.
Well, then it's about time you got your first lesson. Occasionally, you're bound to run into guys like me.
And what do I learn?
To wish you hadn't. Can he swim?
Like a fish.
Let's go sit on the beach.
Let's.
We left while young Asher was pulling himself out of the pool and drove back to the beach. Turned out to be a lovely evening after all. We sat on the beach and talked about things until we couldn't think of anything else to say. I left as the sun was rising behind the Malibu hills and drove back to the hotel and crawled into bed. I'd promised to see Nancy for dinner, so I set the alarm and fell asleep. It was about 4 in the afternoon when the phone rang. Johnny, darling.
This is Sergeant Dodd.
Oh, how are you? I just got a little snooze.
You have a big night last night?
Well, I don't know. Nothing special. Why?
You made the papers, front page.
Huh?
Yeah. Says here you knocked some young socialite into a swimming pool.
Oh, I better get up. Anything new on the case?
No, I thought maybe you might have something. What do you know about this guy you belted last night?
He didn't drown, did he?
No, but we've been doing some checking on him.
Any particular reason?
Well, we're checking everyone that's even remotely connected with Miss Shaw or any of the others who've been robbed.
Well, all I know is that he used to be engaged in that to, Miss Shaw. His name is Asher. Dave Asher. And, oh, yeah, she said he's got a lot of money.
Oil wells.
Yeah.
Not a one.
What do you mean?
I mean, he looks like a phony. Nobody's ever heard of him. He's certainly not in oil.
Does he have money?
Yeah, but not as much as he pretends. 3 months ago, he didn't even have a bank account, and he was living in a $7 a week room.
Huh.
Just thought you might be able to tell me something more.
No, I can't. But I'll see what I can find out.
Okay. Give my regards to Miss Shaw.
I'll do that.
Seems like a real nice girl.
Yeah. A half hour later, I pulled up to the beach house, got out, went down the steps to the front door, and rang the bell. It had been a long time since I'd felt like that. I was really looking forward to seeing her again.
Oh, Miss Shaw isn't in, Mr. Dollars.
Well, she's expecting me.
Miss Shaw isn't seeing anyone for the next few days. She told me to tell you she was sorry.
Now, wait a minute.
Please, Mr. Dollars.
What's the matter with you? What's wrong?
There's nothing wrong, sir. Please, let me close the door.
Your apron's torn. You've been crying. What's happened, Bernice?
Nothing.
Then I'll find out for myself. Nancy! 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 Nancy, are you in there?
Johnny.
Open the door.
Please. Go away. I can't see you.
What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I'll call you.
Open the door.
Oh, please, John.
Nancy!
Go away.
Are you going to open the door or do I break it in?
I didn't want to see you. I didn't want any more trouble.
Honey, who did it?
Please. Please don't do it. Don't say anything about it. Please. The publicity would be awful.
Come on. Sit down.
Oh.
Have you seen a doctor?
No. Bernice called him. He should be here any minute. He won't say anything.
Who did it?
Oh, Johnny, please forget it.
Asher.
Please, please.
All right. Come on. You stretch out. You got any sleeping pills or anything?
It's in the cabinet.
Here, take a couple. Come on. Now you just relax till the doctor gets here. You'll be all right.
All right.
You just take it easy. Okay?
Okay. Is she all right, Mr. Dollars?
Who beat her up? Was it Mr. Asher?
Yes. Yes, he got here about an hour ago. I tried to stop him. He hit me. He was crazy. He kept hitting her. I found this on the floor after he left.
Quite a diamond.
Yes, sir.
Hard cut. About 2 carats.
He yelled, screamed like he was crazy. He was just terrible. Is she all right?
Yeah. I want to use the phone.
Yes, sir. I didn't want to keep you out, Mr. Dallas. But Miss Shaw was scared you'd do something.
Somebody's got to do something, Bernice.
You going to call the police?
Yeah.
I guess you have to.
Sergeant Dodd, please.
Thank you. Robbery, Sergeant Dodd.
This is Johnny Dollar.
Oh, yeah.
You got that list of stolen goods handy?
Well, right in front of me. Why?
Check it and see if there's a 2-carat diamond. Oval, pretty deep.
Wait a minute.
Bernice,
Yes, sir.
you know those people that have been robbed in the last 3 months?
Yes, sir. Miss Shaw and me were just talking about it this morning.
Were they all friends of Miss Shaw's?
Yes, sir. Miss Shaw was saying how funny
Johnny?
it was.
Wait a minute, Bernice. Yeah, Sergeant?
There's no single stone on the list, but there's a ring, platinum setting with 2 small rubies, square cut on the side, and a 2-carat diamond that fits the description. Oval, deep.
Yeah. Look, Dodd. Dave Asher just beat up Miss Shaw. She's a mess. Doctor's on his way over now. Wait a minute. Bernice, what were you going to say? You said that Miss Shaw...
She said how funny it was that all them people who were robbed, that she was over there to their house just before it happened.
Dodd.
Yeah?
I think Asher's our boy. I think he went to those houses with Miss Shaw and cased them good. Found out what night the maid was off and anything else that might happen.
Okay, but how about Miss Shaw's house? Asher was with her the night of the robbery.
Then he's working with someone. He gets the layout, someone else does the job.
Well, we can certainly run over and pick him up. Get him on an assault charge anyway.
Yeah. I want to see Mr. Asher again. Sergeant Dodd gave me Asher's address in Santa Monica Canyon and said he'd meet me there. I looked in on Nancy, who was getting drowsy. I told Bernice I'd check back to see what the doctor's report would be, and then left for Asher's place. Yeah? Get up. I said get up!
Let me go.
You're out of shape, Dave. You should train on men for a while.
You broke my nose.
You're lucky. Now, where did you get this ring? Where did you get it?
I bought it.
Where?
From a guy.
What guy?
Just a guy. I don't know him. He wanted to sell it, and I bought it. Is anything the matter with that?
Yeah, you're lying. Now, listen to me. I want some answers. First, where did you get this ring?
I told you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You've been going to parties with Miss Shaw, casing the house, and someone else has been doing the jobs. Right? Okay.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Who are you working with?
Name's Fisher. Stanley Fisher.
Where is he?
He lives at the Shelton Hotel on Ocean Drive.
Where's the loot?
He's got it.
Why did you beat up Miss Shaw?
I don't know. I just got mad. I don't know why I did it. Don't you ever do anything and you don't know why?
Oh, yeah, sure. But this isn't one of those times.
Well, guess I should have knocked.
Oh, hello, Sergeant. He's your man, all right. I heard. Works with some guy named Stanley Fisher.
Yeah, we know him. Small-time thief. I'll have him picked up.
I'm sorry about the mess. Asher and I had a slight difference of opinion.
Forget it. Why don't you get back to the beach and see how Miss Shaw's doing? I'll take care of things here.
Thanks. Miss Shaw was fine. Took her a few days to get up and around, so naturally I stayed in town until Dodd put the finishing touches on the case. Then I went down to the beach and gave her a full report.
And now you've got to leave.
I'm afraid so. I don't particularly want to.
I guess it's better.
Why?
I don't know. Do you?
Sure. So I can come back.
Rudy?
The next time my expense account brings me to California.
I will personally rob every house in the neighborhood.
You do that. Well, I'm going to catch a plane.
Mommy? Come here.
Nancy,
Huh?
Are you sure my hair isn't on fire? Well, that was that. Expense account item 2, $115. Hotel bill and incidentals. Items 3 and 4, $295.85. Car rental, plane fare, and incidentals back to Hartford. Expense account total, $604.65. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Remember, friends, for refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself to delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. The taste of fresh spearmint is cooling and delightful, and there's lots of it in every stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. It freshens your mouth, helps keep your throat moist, and sweetens your breath besides. You'll enjoy the good chewing, too, because Wrigley's Spearmint is so smooth and pleasant to chew on. There's nothing else quite like it. Next time you're at the store, stop at your friendly merchant's display of chewing gum and get a few packages of good-tasting Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Always keep some handy for refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment. That's Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, brought to you by Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum, stars John Lund in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Mary Jane Croft, Thelma Johnson, Peter Leeds, and Vic Perrin. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. The makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum hope you enjoyed tonight's story of Johnny Dollar and that you're enjoying delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum every day. This is Charles Lyon, inviting you to join us again next week at this same time when, from Hollywood, John Lund returns as yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Welcome back. Well, this is a rarity. Johnny Dollar falls in love, and the woman does not turn out to be a femme fatale and or dies by the end of the program. So somewhat notable here. I thought some great chemistry here between the two actors. It sounded so good that to me, if I were Johnny Dollar, I'd be thinking, I could become Johnny Dollar, L.A. private detective. Just some great, overall, a pretty solid story and a nice little bit of a change of pace here. Now, this episode was written by Blake Edwards, but I've not heard a Richard Diamond episode that corresponds to it, and I should be clear, I've not heard every Richard Diamond episode, but I checked on the RadioGoldIndex.com and did not find any episode like this described. So, did not appear to be any sort of duplicate there. But not all Richard Diamond episodes are available for listening. A lot of lost episodes of that series. All right. Well, that will do it for today. Join us on Monday for Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator. And then we will be back again next Friday for another episode with that man with the action-packed expense account, yours truly, Johnny Dollar. In the meanwhile, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. But from Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this